broken baker, where crimes are baked in every show. Mysteries rise and truth unfolding. Ready, set, it's time to go. We say it's time to go. Whistling clues, battering news, mixing stories, solving the lies. In this kitchen, secrets are broken, with a spark in our eyes. In the broken baker's kitchen, the secrets crumble like sunrise. We'll sift the blues to find the news, with a spark in our eyes. In broken rise, broken rise. Welcome to the broken baker. Get ready. Let's go.
I'm Jimmy. How y'all doing?
The most important people in this case that everybody seems to have forgotten in this room is the jury. So we're going to take a 15-minute break and both sides take a pregnant pause and think about the jury.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whoever you are, whatever you are, what, if any, you might be. And as you can see, court started a little early today. So the 9 a.m. starting point wasn't correct. So I hope will this stream end within the hour with a guilty plea. Brian, I was just about to say, I haven't looked ahead. I'm not like Jamie. I don't cheat. But apparently they are asking for some motions. So maybe we get time to cover the Sarah Boone hearing live in 10 minutes. But let's see how it goes. And hello to all y'all. Boom, 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 boom. Well, he's not crying today, at least. Coming, Judgy Poo. Come on, Judge. Look like they're arguing.
Finished with the report of this ministry with this one adverse and on behalf of the state of Ohio, Detective Robert Morton from the Hamilton Police Department. I know we're set to start back up for jury trial at 9 o'clock, but there was a motion for a mistrial that was filed late yesterday, and I believe that's on the court's docket at 8:45 this morning.
Yes, thank you. And I will note for the record that the jurors are not present at this time. The court has had the opportunity to review the motion for mistrial as well as the state's memorandum in opposition. Mr. Wilder, is there anything else that you would like to put on the record at this time?
Judge, no, I think my motion quite clearly indicates what argument I'm making here. And I just would note, I don't know, it was one of the very first things that was presented to the jury. I don't think that's in my motion, but that's all I would add.
Very well. And does the state have any response other than what?
So the defense has filed for a mistrial. Tomorrow, when well, if it's an open courtroom and they haven't closed the doors, you should be able to just go down there and sit in. I can't see any problem with that, Legally Blonde.
It's contained in its written memorandum?
Yes, Your Honor. We would add in, leave that cases in the motion that we.
Hey, Shaquille Oatmeal, the third best name on the internet. Been a while. Well, he testified. Well, he didn't testify. He admitted yesterday he did it. So probably not the best start on the trial.
We filed, but I believe the standard for a mistrial is reported out in State v. and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. Hoerig, Hoerig. It's a 2020 12th district case. Is test for prosecutorial misconduct is whether the remarks were improper, and if so, whether they're prejudicially
If you want to
affecting
do it,
substantial rights.
if we're still going.
And the prosecutor it goes on to say that the prosecutor is not allowed to express his personal belief or opinion as to the credibility of a witness or as to the guilt of the accused, or allude to the matters which will not be supported by admissible evidence, and must avoid insinuations and assertions which are calculated to mislead the jury. First of all, I would add that there were no objections made during the opening statement by defense counsel. The motion was filed in the evening after we had concluded for the day. There's nothing, but for counsel being able to watch it on playback because TV was here, it wouldn't have been filed because he didn't make the motion at the time. And what I said was,
because they will be asking every witness who was in the room that they heard him admit to it.
An interpretation of the evidence as it will be presented in court. There was nothing.
Well, the reason why he wants a mistrial is because he believes that the state weren't allowed to talk about the guilt of the accused. But again, he said it in open court.
That was said that won't be admitted into evidence, and also that counsel. It's our assertion that defense counsel is interpreting what happened yesterday in a different light than the state is, and it's for the jury to decide. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, if I may.
Sure.
Okay. Yesterday, what happened in court was Mr. Madden, while it was on TV and what he directed towards his family at that moment, that was an unusual circumstance. Suffice to say, the objection wasn't made at that point because I wasn't for sure exactly what he was doing over here. But the reality is we do have video of it once I did review it. We're not going by what was said, what was repeated by what Mr. Madden said. The problem was the motions that were made, the straightforward motions, 3 in a row, slowly, deliberately, with pen pointed out, because that is not even close to what Mr. Madden did. And prosecutor even alluded to that all these witnesses who are here are going to testify to that. Michaela was the first witness, and all she testified to was what he actually said, not what he did. And the problem with what was said in the opening is that's the first thing the jury hears, and the jury is being told that these witnesses are going to come in and tell you about this forward stabbing motion of 3 times, and she didn't even do that, the very first witness. So there wasn't an objection at the time, but we heard from Michaela, and all she talked about was the statement. She did not mention anything at all about the referencing of the motion that was made by the prosecutor. That is our basis of our motions, not what he said. It's what the action was, because this case falls onto one of his counts as felony murder in the A section, which is purposeful. There's also a chance maybe at this trial that there's evidence or testimony that may end up having to fit into potentially a manslaughter charge. But the actions that the prosecutor indicated there is not what was done in court. It is an opening.
Well, he actually did something like that, not slow and deliberate, but I think they should replay the video.
Statement, but that's the first thing that the jury heard. We think that's prejudicial. We think this affected his right to a fair trial right off the bat, because we've even heard from one witness who did not testify, and the same thing that the prosecutor indicated was going to occur.
Thank you. All right. Well, the court will note that opening statements are not evidence, and I did, in fact, instruct the jury to that very thing. The jurors are the judges of the facts in this case, as I've already indicated to the jurors, and they ultimately determine what the evidence shows or what it doesn't show. I'm not going to find that there was any misconduct on behalf of the state of Ohio. I think the jurors need to interpret the evidence that's put in front of them to the best of their ability, and they will determine what is credible and not credible. And fortunately, in this case, there is a video of what was said in the courtroom, what actions may or may not have been made in the courtroom. And if either side chooses to introduce that video evidence, then those jurors will have firsthand the ability to determine what the evidence actually showed. With the argument that it is potentially prejudicial to the defendant, the court will just note for the record that the defendant was the one that created the actions and or statements in the courtroom of his own volition. And that's just something that's going to have to be dealt with. But again, the court did advise the
defense have filed a motion to for retrial because they believe that during the opening statements yesterday, the state said something that would prejudice the jurors against the defendant with the stabbing motion. Not what he said. They don't contest that he said something like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to, I did it," or something in that way. So I heard it as, "I didn't mean to." I can see it because, well, let's just try it again because we found a pretty good one yesterday. Doesn't matter, we're going to be a little bit behind. We'll catch up. But let me get this one over here and then go full screen and share this tab, and audio is on.
Yeah, I'm responsible
I'm responsible. That's an admission of guilt.
for what happened to her. I didn't mean it. We got into it. And I'm so.
And I don't know if you can say that is a stabbing motion. I would agree that's not a stabbing motion.
So sorry. Okay, let's say the recess. Listen. Yeah, I'm responsible for what happened to her. I didn't mean it. We got into it. And I'm so sorry.
This clip makes it quite clear that he at least says something that could be construed as an admittance of guilt. Why is my light so off today? Well, just turn that one off. Yeah, that's the way I interpreted it as well.
jurors that opening statements are not evidence. They will be the jurors of the facts to determine what actually occurred based on what's put in front of them. And I just also wanted to note that there was something in the motion
That is the defendant
for mistrial about the media coverage. And I did also order the jurors not to watch any media coverage of this trial, and will continue to order that. So I don't think that the fact that it was covered by the media is in any way prejudicial to the defendant, since I'm going to presume that the jurors have followed my orders. So I'm going to respectfully deny the motion for a mistrial. I did want to explain a little bit better one of the rulings that I made yesterday. We had talked about the defendant's potential removal from the courtroom on several occasions. And we have talked about the cases that apply when a defendant is disruptive in the courtroom. And after this incident occurred, there was a request.
No, but this video clip will be played. Probably they are going to call a witness really fast who was in the room yesterday and ask him what he heard. And then, as the judge alluded to, they will be able to play it.
The court was advised that the defendant would waive his right to be inside of the courtroom. This was a highly emotional situation, and the court did not find that it could properly find that the defendant was knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving his right to be present in the courtroom. And that is based upon the history of this case, where at pretty much every juncture, this defendant has been adamant that he wanted to appear in the courtroom. And we've gone back and forth about what would cause the court to remove him from the courtroom. So I think things went pretty well after things settled down. And I hope that'll continue to be the case, so that this defendant can meaningfully participate in his defense. And exercise his constitutional right to be present in the courtroom. Okay, before we take a brief recess so we can get the jurors gathered, is there anything else on behalf of the state of Ohio?
No, I think one of the witnesses we intend to call, Ann Mayers, is in the Butler County Jail. So we might need her transported, but she might not be called until after the first recess.
Hey, Shizzy Raiders, welcome, welcome.
Would you be able to make arrangements for that, Sergeant? Okay, thank you. Okay, is there anything else that you wanted to put on the record, Mr. Wilder?
Nothing else, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, all right, so we'll take just a few minutes so that the jurors can gather themselves, and then we'll come back in and we'll begin with the state's next witness.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The jurors and Mr. Wilder. With those requests.
Our next witness, Detective Catherine Johnson, is okay with being filmed. However, there are 4 utility workers, Brian Short, Tyler Nath, Stanley Brock, and Rick Riestenberg, that do not wish to be on.
I love that they're not willing to be on camera and he just doxed them. So fine of them.
Okay, so I would ask that the camera operator comply with those requests. We will allow the sound to be recorded, but not their video images to be displayed.
Thank you, Shizzy.
Anything else before we bring the jurors in, Mr. Wilder?
Just to reiterate the separation of witness order.
That continues to be in effect, so anyone other than the victim's representative or Detective Horton that intends to testify must not be in the courtroom during these proceedings.
Hey, Gail.
That's all.
Hello, Debbie. Turn off the microphone when you put it on. You absolute pillock. Hey, Palola. I should have a poll. Will we get another outburst today?
Please be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Does anyone have any violations of the court's recess instructions that they need to report? All right, then we'll continue with our case. The state may call us next witness.
Yes, Your Honor, state I would call Detective Catherine Johnson.
Well, at least they have a microphone. They don't know how to turn it off when they put it on. That's a little annoying. They show life. And we are live.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Detective. Would you please state your name for the record and display your first and last name?
Yes, Catherine Johnson, Katherine Johnsson.
And where are you currently employed?
City of Hamilton.
And what is your current job assignment or current job duties with the City of Hamilton?
I'm a detective.
What does it mean to be a detective with the City of Hamilton Police Department?
We receive reports and solve crimes in the city that residents would have complained about.
Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Detective, if you would speak into that microphone, take that out.
Yes.
And if it doesn't help, let me know.
Okay.
I apologize. I'm sure.
Sorry about that. Is that better? Okay.
All right, tell us what your job duties are being a detective with the City of Hamilton Police Department.
Okay, I'm a detective, as I said, and I speak to residents every single day trying to solve crimes that they have reported has happened to them.
What sort of crimes are you currently investigating or do you currently investigate?
Currently, I work on really everything, but mostly child crimes. So sex abuse, any kind of child abuse.
Okay. And then I want to direct your attention back to October 11th of 2022. Were you working for the City of Hamilton Police Department then?
Yes,
And what was your job assignment at that point with the City of Hamilton Police Department?
I was a patrol officer.
And what does it mean to be a patrol officer?
I respond to calls that come in through 911 dispatch.
And how long have you been a police officer with the City of Hamilton Police Department?
9 years.
I want to directing your attention back to October 11th of 2022. Did you have an opportunity to respond to 1270 Parish Avenue?
Yes,
Is that located in the city of Hamilton, Butler County, Ohio?
yes,
Who was the first one to arrive at the scene that particular day?
I was.
And do you recall about what time that you arrived at 1270 Parish?
It was in the afternoon. It would have been before 2 p.m. because shift hasn't changed yet.
Okay. I said it was a little after 12 o'clock, but that's not about right.
Yes.
If I may approach the witness, Your Honor. Mr. Rob, I'm going to share with you. Yes, I can approach.
You may.
All right, Detective, I'm going to ask you to look at State's Exhibits 4 and 6 when you have an opportunity.
Thank you, Iris, for the 3 corner kisses yesterday. It didn't tick in till after the stream, so thank you so much. And hey, Adelaide.
And just generally speaking, what are we looking at in State's Exhibits 4 and 6?
The entrance to the address.
Okay, the 1270 Parish Avenue?
Yes,
Those photos truly, fairly, and accurately depict what that residence looked like on October 11th, 2022, when you first responded.
yes.
Your Honor, I would ask that 4 and 6 be admitted and permission published.
Any objection, Mr. Wilder?
No objection.
All right, they'll be admitted and they may be published.
4 should be up on the screen right now. Or I put it on here anyway. I don't know, is the power on? Because it's not on. Oh, sorry.
We just started. Come on now. Why haven't you made sure your tech works? Bum, 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 bum. Hey, Tash. Well, we don't. He has been found competent to stand trial, and other than a massive drug abuse, I don't think there's anything there so far. Yes, stay safe, everyone.
Looks like we're having a bit of a technical difficulty, so I apologize for the delay.
I don't know what you want to know.
Have you tried switching it on and on? Hey, Selena K. Almost the same name as the best villain in Batman.
Detective, what are you looking at here, State's Exhibit 4?
This is the front entrance of the house.
Oh, just as we caught up. So.
The stairs come all the way down to the sidewalk. It's kind of steep.
Okay. And then State's Exhibit 6.
Someone mentioned something yesterday. Are these all the homes built for the returning troops in 45, 46? I know there was a big program to make easy, affordable housing for all the veterans of the Second World Kerfuffle. Is this the type of housings they could get?
What are we looking at here, Detective?
That's the front entrance, the front door as you get to the top step.
Okay. And are these the steps that you would have gone up when you arrived on the scene and entered the house?
Yes.
Right. So when you get to the scene, if you would tell us what happens when you arrive at the residence. Kind of take us through step by step what it is you do.
Okay. I go up the stairs. The neighbor was waving me to the house. When I get to the top of the stairs, I see, and to the front entrance rather, I see the defendant on top of the victim doing chest compressions.
Was the EMS arriving around this time?
I'm sorry, repeat?
Was the EMS arriving around this time?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you see the individual that you see giving chest compressions, you see that individual in court today?
Yes.
Would please point to him and explain to ladies and gentlemen of the jury what it is he's wearing?
It would be the defendant in the blue collared shirt.
Your Honor, that's the record reflect witnesses identified the defendant, Toby Madden.
The record will say reflect.
What happens when you get to the top of the steps and see the defendant giving the deceased chest compressions?
I could visually see that she was far gone, and there was no reason to do chest compressions at this time, so I grabbed him by his shirt and pulled him off of her.
What were you seeing that made you believe that she was obviously dead?
Multiple stabs.
The foundation.
Okay, let's approach, please.
Well, it's going well. Well, I hope he sharpened it after, because it has been nicked up. Selena K, yes, it's a good one. He admitted yesterday before jury was brought in that he did it. He said he was sorry to his kids and it was his fault and he didn't mean to. So I'm just waiting for the state to play that video and then we can be out of here. I thought the case would end yesterday, but seems like we're going through the motion. We just need to see that video of him admitting it, and the jury will find him guilty in 2 seconds. She was stabulated 55 times from the head to her knees. She have defensive wounds on her hand. His defense is something like maybe because he was caught in a drug bust. Some other people unalived her. I think that's their defense. We don't know. He has his sixth lawyer. He's tried to fire this one as well, going pro se, which is probably good for him. He didn't. He would already have been in prison. And defense didn't make an opening statement. He doesn't really have many questions, but I have a feeling the state will probably rest by the end of the day. We heard the witnesses he's going to bring. If he can speed through them, which he should do instead of just yapping on. I don't know why he brings in 4 different utility workers. 1 should be enough, but I hope he speeds through it. Then we should be done by the state today.
I'll rephrase the question. What injuries do you see on the individual that you believe to be deceased?
Okay, I saw multiple stab wounds across her entire stomach and arms. There was a lot of blood. Her skin was very pale.
At this time, you said that you had to pull the individual that you identified as Toby Madden. You had to kind of pull him off by a shirt. How was the defendant acting at this time?
He was crying, yelling. I pulled him down the stairs to the bottom of the stairs to try to.
Thank you so much, Nick, for the 5 gifted memberships. And congratulations on your 10,000 subscribers. Sorry I couldn't be there. I was streaming all day, so I needed to sleep. It went to Kickboxing Mom, Dream Drama Laundry, Tash, Selena K, and Chapped Ass. That's always a nice name. Thank you so much, Nick.
Figure out his name and her name. He was pretty hysterical and cooperative, I would say.
And if I may approach you on that.
You may.
Patty B, those are the things we will never know. Well, it's nice sometimes.
Counsel, what is marked as State's Exhibit 33? Detective, can I have you identify what is contained in State's Exhibit 33?
This is the victim as she laid when I came up the stairs.
Does that photograph truly, fairly, and accurately depict how the victim?
Thank you, Laura, for telling me. I didn't notice that.
Yes.
Yay.
I'd ask 33 be admitted and permission to publish.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, it'll be admitted and it may be published.
And what are we looking at here, Detective? If you would, please.
This is the victim, and you can see on her stomach, she has stab wounds. Her shirt is cut up multiple times where she had been stabbed. She has stab wounds on her hands and arms, both arms, and there's blood surrounding her body.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
What do I get?
250.
250, thank you.
All right. At some point, two other officers.
Yes,
arrive at
we'll
the
do
scene.
it.
Yes.
Who else arrives at the scene?
Officer Taras Volkachev arrives next.
What do you request of Officer Taras?
Volkachev.
Let's go.
Volkachev.
Okay, yes.
I asked him to stay with the defendant and keep him where he was at while I cleared the house so that EMS was safe.
Okay. What were you concerned? Why did you want to clear the house to make sure that EMS was safe?
Well, at this time, I did not know if there was anyone else left in the house.
And I closed the poll at 84% says yes, he will have another outburst because I feel it's coming. I feel it coming down in the air tonight. Oh,
That
Christy.
possibly could have done this to her.
Okay. It's your way of making sure that EMS is safe?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us what it is as you're going through the house and some of the observations you're making.
When I entered first, the paramedics and firefighters had asked me to unplug a heater that was in the living room there. So I unplugged that with gloves on, and then I started making announcements. Hamilton Police, if
Yeah, Selena K, the clip I played where he admits to doing it was from yesterday.
you're here, announce yourself repeatedly, and then I started clearing room by room to make sure that there was no one else in the house.
And I assume as you're yelling Hamilton, I'm sorry, I assume as you're saying Hamilton Police, you're yelling it quite loudly?
Yes,
And why are you doing that?
to give, if there was anyone in the house, to give them the opportunity to come out and not surprise me and possibly have anything else happen.
Did you find anybody else in the house as you went through?
No.
And if you would, can you generally describe kind of the layout of the house and different rooms that you looked into?
Sure. So it was kind of in disarray. I believe they had just moved in. There was belongings everywhere. The first room you enter is the living room. That's where she was. And to the left was like a dining room and kitchen area. There's a small hallway with bedrooms off to the side and a bathroom off to the side. Then as you go straight down the hallway, it takes you to the back door, which was locked. And then there's stairs that go down into the basement. And I searched down there as well.
Okay, Detective, if you would, if I could ask you to thumb through and go to State's Exhibits 45, 46, and 47.
Remember, they are showing the pictures on the screen. That's probably why he's crying.
Okay.
Have you had a chance to look at State's Exhibits 45, 46, and 47?
Yes.
Generally speaking, what are those photographs of?
That's the hallway kitchen area. I said when you're going towards the back door, the living room is from, I don't know if you're looking at picture 45. The living room is behind me to the right.
Okay. 45, 46, and 47, are those all true, fair, and accurate depictions of what you observed at the residence on October 11, 2022, being the first responding officer to go through the house?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I would ask that 45, 46, and 47 be admitted and permission to publish.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, those will be admitted and they may be published.
Right, and if you would there, Detective, what are we looking at here in State's Exhibit 45? Is the detective able to draw on the screen anything
She should be able to.
Just with my
Maybe not this much in touch with his emotions. I'm just saying he got a little stabby.
finger.
Yeah, hold on one second.
Defense filed a motion to for retrial because they believe that the state had said something they shouldn't say in the opening statement, overruled, and the video will be allowed to be played in court. If a witness is brought up, they can ask about it. They have extra security.
Okay, all right.
Do we have a pointer or a laser that she can use?
Why haven't you made this readily available before you start the
It's
trial?
something your testimony.
Okay.
No testimony so far about
All right,
that.
Detective, what are we looking at here in State's Exhibit 45? And I believe, of course,
Yes.
if there's anything you wish to point out, I would ask the court to allow the witness to step down and use a pointer to point on the picture.
She'll be permitted to do so.
If you feel like you to. So what are we looking at here in State's Exhibit 45, Detective?
This is kind of that hallway that takes you to the back door that I was describing, and then the rooms are off to the right.
If you would, go ahead, if you want to step down and point to where the rooms are off to the right.
So there's rooms over here, there's bathroom right here, and then there's, I believe, a bedroom right here.
Okay. Thank you, Detective. And then State's Exhibit 46. What observations are you making in this picture of State's Exhibit 46?
This is the back door, and you can see that it's locked by the deadbolt.
And is there an item that's pushed up against the door?
Yes.
And if you can point to the item that you saw pushed up against the door. Okay. And then State's Exhibit 47. Is that kind of close up of what it is that you saw?
Yes, the deadbolt here, and then it's locked
And there's a second one as well, isn't there?
here. Yes.
Thank you, Detective. Obviously, during this sweep of the house, did you notice, was there downstairs to this residence?
Yes, there was a basement.
Okay. Can you describe the conditions of the basement or what it is that you observed when you went down into the basement?
Yes. When I initially got down into the basement, there was some water on the floor, which I avoided stepping in. And then there was another room off of that room where there was clothes on the floor and other things.
Okay. Did you notice anything on the floor other than the clothes?
Footprints from the water.
Okay, did you notice the footprints?
Mhm.
Okay. If I can have you look at State's Exhibit 55. Actually, I'm going to ask you to go and look at 55 and 57. And generally speaking, what are we looking at in State's Exhibits 55 and 57?
In 55, this is the room directly down the stairs, and there's water. And then you can kind of see, I don't know exactly what is all over the floor. Maybe some clothing or rags, some pencils, looks like. There's footprints.
Okay. Is that photo truly fairly accurately depict the basement as you saw it on October 11, 2022?
Yes.
I would ask for 55 to be admitted, Commissioner Elvis.
Any admission, or any objections to the admission of 55?
No, just-
Okay, it'll be admitted and you may publish it.
All right, what are we looking at here in State's Exhibit 55?
This is the water spot that I was describing, and then the footprints are off to the right there. And then towards that door, there's another footprint. And I don't know exactly what all this stuff is on the floor, but maybe like some rags and a pencil.
And if you remember, when you went down to the basement, was the basement light or dark when you went down there? And if you don't remember, that's fine.
I don't recall.
And then I have you look at State's Exhibit 57.
This is the room off of this room, the next picture. I guess where the furnace and paint and other footprints are on the dry concrete.
And the footprints that you saw, there are 55 of those wet footprints you saw?
Yes,
And then, and as for this 57 truly fairly accurately depict the basement as you saw it on October 11, 2022?
yes.
All right, as 57 be admitted, 57 be admitted,
First arriving officer at the scene.
permission to publish.
Any objection?
No.
Okay, it'll be admitted and you may publish it.
And what we're looking at here in Stacy is a 57 detective.
This is that other room. It's dry concrete and you can see some wet footprints in there.
Give me one moment.
Sure.
Another question, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, cross-examination?
Good morning, Detective Jones.
Good morning.
I have a few questions for you. If you get confused or don't understand my question, just let me know and I'll try to rephrase it, okay?
Okay.
When you responded to the scene that day, did you have any body worn camera on you?
No.
Were body worn cameras in use by Hamilton Police Department back on the day that you responded to this scene?
No.
How did you gain entry into the house?
The front door was open.
So when you arrived, the front door was open, you just walked in?
I can't see that.
Correct.
So when you walked up the steps, doors open?
I don't even know if he has been offered a plea deal. Neighbors called 911.
And then you saw Mr. Madden attending to the woman on the ground,
Yes.
and you said he was doing chest compression.
Yes.
I think you described him as hysterical.
Yes.
Was he crying?
Yes.
Appeared very emotional.
Yes.
Are you trained in CPR or chest compressions?
Yes.
Did it appear that he was doing what you would expect someone who may be trying to do CPR would do?
Yes.
He wasn't just pushing on the body. It looked like he was actually trying to do a manner or technique consistent with CPR.
Yes.
You said you were the first to arrive on the scene, correct?
Yes.
You were shown some pictures of the back door that was appeared to be locked. Do you have any idea exactly when that door was locked?
When I first searched it, it was locked.
So when you arrived, it was locked, but you don't know if that door had just been locked or maybe 2 hours before it had been locked or even a day before it had been locked. You don't know exactly when it was locked.
Correct.
So it's possible that that door could have been locked after Rachelle was stabbed. Is that fair?
Sure.
Did you inspect that door at all, or was it just something that you looked at?
I just looked at it.
Could you determine upon sight of the door whether it's one of those where you could lock it from inside or outside?
I did not go in the back, so I don't know.
Giggity, giggity, giggity.
I'm sorry, I am this immature. Hey, Santiago Garcia Jr.
I know at the time you were a patrol officer, correct?
Yes.
And now you're a detective.
Yes.
At the time that you responded to the scene this day, when Mr. Madden's given those impressions, had you ever responded to a scene with a dead body?
Yes.
How many times do you think that's unfortunately happened up until that point for you?
I don't 20 or more, maybe.
Ohio.
And you touched on this a little bit, but was there any, you talked about the emotion that Mr. Madden was displaying. Did there appear to be any calmness at any point with him about what had just occurred in that house?
No.
We saw a few pictures from inside the house, but did it appear to you that there were a lot of tools and materials in the house and they were sort of renovating this house? Is that what it appeared?
Yes.
And were there tools and materials in almost all parts of that first floor?
It appeared that way, yes.
You indicated that you went down to the basement and you saw some footprints.
Jamie has phone duties on Tuesdays. That's why she is slacking again today, just like yesterday. Just as yesterday, it was also phone duties. We all know Jamie is at the dollar store making ready for Beauty on a Budget, her weekly show that'll start sometime next week.
Are you aware that there were some gas workers that had been at the property earlier that day?
I am now, but I was not aware at that time.
And when you were down in the basement, was the furnace or any kind of unit down there, any heating unit down in the basement?
There's a furnace down there. I don't know if there's an air conditioner.
What about as far as like a water tank, water heater? Did you see that down in the basement as well?
I don't recall.
In the basement, did you notice that there were a lot of clothes laying on the floor?
There were clothes, yes.
And not, and in a manner not trying to, and not folded, is that fair?
Correct, yes, a pile, yes,
And when we're saying piles, there were several shirts, several just pieces of clothing. correct?
yes.
It wasn't just one piece of clothing, it was a bunch.
Correct.
Sloppy, is that how you would describe it?
I mean, they just moved in.
Right.
And it,
But it is,
But yes.
it's almost the appearance where someone had a whole handful of clothes and just basically threw it onto the floor into a pile. Is that,
sure,
would you describe that, your observation?
yes.
Judge, that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Any redirect?
I redirect, Your Honor.
Thank you, Detective. You may step down.
Thank you.
Why asking about are they going to try and blame it on the 4 utility guys because he was trying to do CPR, so it wasn't him, it must have been them, and he found her and tried to revive her? I'm thinking that's the strategy now. Well, thank you for joining us, Maria. And yeah, Brandy, she's slacking too. No, she's taking a well-earned vacation. I miss her. I need to have her on the show again. No, they had 4 utility guys who will testify. All of those 4 was there to put on the gas again because there was no gas at the house.
Okay, if you could call your next witness, please.
State call Rick Riestenberg.
Mr. Waters, the detective subject to recall. The detective just,
Oh, no, sorry.
I would release Detective Johnson.
Very well.
Your Honor, this is one of the ones that does not want to be
Okay.
on camera. So.
Thank you.
Morning.
Can you state your name, please, for the jury? Spell your last name.
Spell the last name?
Yes.
It's Richard Riestenberg, Riestenberg.
How are you employed, sir?
I'm employed by the city of Hamilton in the gas and water department.
Okay. And what do you do for the city of Hampton in that department?
I'm a service rep.
And what does that mean? What are your duties or responsibilities?
On any given day, I could be doing anything from changing water meters and gas meters to turning people's gas on to checking for gas odors or
Okay.
anything along those
Anything
lines.
involving gas, I guess, right?
Gas or your residential water.
Okay. All right. And how long have you been in that position?
In this position, probably 8 or 9 years,
Okay. How long have you been with the city overall?
14 and a half.
Excuse me. I'm going to draw your attention back to October 11th of 2022.
Okay.
Did you take part in a service appointment at 1270 Parish Avenue?
I do.
And when you go out to a residence to provide a service or perform service, is there any type of documentation that you have for an appointment?
We generally will get a work order to go out and perform XYZ service. At that time, we do whatever is requested or along those lines, and then we fill out our work order. And
Okay. If I may proceed.
You may.
Yes, we started very late yesterday. It only went for, I think it took less than 2 hours because we had him admitting to doing the crime, then a big recess,
Yes.
then opening statements, then his daughter as a witness, and then it was over.
If you look at State's Exhibit 208, and that is double-sided. Can you take a look at that, please, and explain what that is?
this is just a printout of our standard work order.
Okay. And is that the work order for October 11th of 2022 at 1270 Parish?
That is what it says.
Okay. That is not the original, but is that a true and accurate copy of the original, as you remember it?
Yes, this is exactly what it would look like.
Okay. And I believe your name's on it.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I asked that State's Exhibit 208 be admitted and allowed to publish.
Any objection?
What's on my screen is just the front part of that. You said there's a back side, but
I can show it to you.
I'm pretty sure I got it. I just want to make sure. I just have a blank screen here.
Without any objection?
No objection.
Okay, very well. Okay, it'll be admitted and you may publish it.
That's why you have to go.
No, that's true, because it's double-sided. I'm sorry.
We don't know what it was.
Break this, do I need-
First degree, I believe it is. Come on. Let's speed it up while you bottle around with papers.
All right, Mr. Riesenberg, can you see that from where you're sitting?
I can, it's right here as
Oh,
well.
you have, okay. This is the front page, correct? Or the front of the document?
Yes.
Okay. Can you just please explain to the jury what this is?
This would come to me and it was sent to me that said it needed to have a gas leak survey, which would be where the gas had been turned off for more than a year. So everything inside has to be checked to make sure
Hey, Volstom, how are you doing this morning?
the integrity of the system. And that
Well,
it
he's technically, he has 2 charges for unaliving and 2 for aggravated assault.
required an air test, which my coworkers would perform from the meter itself out to the curb,
Okay.
where they just pressurize the line and wait, I believe, 10 minutes at that time. And
Okay. And then, so there were, how many of you went there that day? From the city of Hamilton? Utilities?
4 total.
Okay. And did you all ride one car?
No,
Okay. Who-
I believe they came in one vehicle and I came in separately
Okay. And why is that you go separately?
because I was doing other things. Those 3 were on a specific crew themselves, and I generally work by myself.
And on the document there in the comments,
If he is on trial, he has been found competent to stand trial, so he is sane.
section, or on this,
I think it's something to do. Again, I don't know every state law. It has something to do with the tool he did it with. I think.
document, what time was the appointment?
The appointment was at 8 o'clock in the morning.
On October 11th?
Yes.
Okay. And who does it say in the comment section that your contact is?
The contact is Rachelle, I believe.
Okay.
That's how that name's pronounced.
All right. And then what is, actually, did you ever see Rachelle that day, or did you go into the house?
I personally did not go in the house because at that present moment, the other 3 guys needed to do their portion of the job before my portion of the job would have even been necessary. So generally speaking, I try to limit the amount of people that go in. I mean, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. You don't need a whole bunch of people traipsing through a house on a general circumstance. So I waited outside to make sure they had any questions about anything or if I was needed for anything. Otherwise, I didn't go in.
Okay. So when they perform, it's just explaining it a little bit where they perform the test.
Correct.
And then if they had passed, what would you have done?
If it would have passed, I would have gone in and turned on the gas, relit a water heater or furnace, or sometimes some of the old stoves need relit, make sure everything was running and functioning properly, and then I would have left.
Okay. And did you ever see Rachelle at all when they went into the house from where you were out of the street?
I believe I saw a woman and a dog that answered the door when the other guys went up there.
Okay. Do you remember what kind of dog it was or what?
I don't remember what kind of dog exactly. It was a large dog, but from the sidewalk, all I recall seeing was a woman and a dog.
Okay. And so you said you never went inside. So in the comment section at the bottom of the State's Exhibit 208, what is the reason that you didn't go inside?
The reason we didn't go inside.
No, there's no reason to go back other than he cried again, and the first detective arrived at the scene, claimed he was doing CPR on the victim. She got him off of her, and we weren't shown the crime scene photos, but she described them. There was a motion to begin with. The defense wanted the case thrown out, but because of the state's statements during opening statement yesterday, state statement during the opening statement, that's a lot of statements. But it was overruled.
It was because the furnace needed replaced. I didn't go inside. It was because the other gentleman said the gas line from the curb to the inside of the house, it passed its test. But inside the house, the furnace wasn't safe to turn on. Therefore, the gas couldn't be turned on because the integrity of the inside system was not established.
Okay, and is that what it indicates there on the front side there in the comment section?
Yes. That, the water heater's missing the knob, so that wouldn't be turned on, and the furnace is going to be replaced. So we left the gas off at the meter until those repairs were made.
Okay, and what time is that where you entered that by your name?
That is at 8:19 in the morning.
Okay. And, flip this over here on that. And just, can you please just describe the backside of the State Exhibit 208?
This would be the order that the other gentleman used to basically do their air test. This is what would have been sent to them stating that somebody has requested that the air test be performed on their gas service.
Okay, and is it fair to say that this is basically saying the same thing, that they couldn't perform the service?
This one states that they did renew, or they did perform their gas test from the curb to the house, and that it passed, but that it was still left off at the meter because repairs need to be made inside.
Okay, all right, very good. Did you see all three your coworkers come out of the house?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and did they inform you what had happened inside?
Yes.
And did you leave at that time, or?
They got in their vehicle to go off to do another job of some sort. I filled out my portion, the work order that the Exhibit 208, the other side of the sheet, and then I proceeded to drive off.
I think that's all the questions.
All right, thank you. Okay, cross-examination.
So let's see if they're gonna go with it. Did you unalive
I have
him?
a few questions for you.
Good morning.
You mentioned, good morning to you. You mentioned something about the integrity of the inside system. Was that the water heater and furnace, one or both?
Both.
To your knowledge, do you know where those two systems were located inside the house? I know you didn't go in, but did you know where those were located?
The basement is where most water heaters and furnaces are. I can only assume that that's,
Okay.
given the house and all the rest of the houses in the neighborhood pretty much are the same.
Probably better to ask the workers if they were
Correct.
testified, because they actually went into the house.
Yes, sir.
Did you said you saw a woman and a large dog. Did you ever see the gentleman sitting over here at this table with blue shirt on, Mr. Madden? Did you ever see him at any point
I
during
did
your
not.
time out there?
I did not.
Did you hear anything? Did you hear anybody shouting or arguing at all from where you were?
I did not.
Did the workers report anything unusual about arguments between?
Well, I have a boost on.
Nothing was conveyed to me.
Thank you for checking us out, lovely.
Any redirect? All
No, Your Honor, thank you.
right, thank you, sir. You may sit down.
So it wasn't the utility guys who did it. Was it the Petco Mafia? Shout out to all of you who has been with us long enough to remember that one.
Okay, your next witness, please.
Let's see, we call Tyler Naif.
Also utility guy. Another. Was that the utility guy just walking past the camera?
Okay, so this witness is also requested not to be filmed. You may proceed whenever you're done.
Morning.
How you doing?
All right. Can you tell the jury your name and spell your last name, please?
My first name is Tyler. My last name is Nafe, N-A-F-E.
How are you employed?
The City of Hamilton Gas and Water.
And how long have you been with the city of Hamilton?
About 2.5 years.
I'm sorry,
2.5 years.
2.5 years? Okay.
It's the same in Denmark. We don't get live coverage either, but that's the wonderful thing because now we can all sit and learn together.
And what do you do then?
I'm a maintenance worker.
And what are your responsibilities or your duties as maintenance worker?
Water main breaks, gas line air tests, pretty much go in the houses and make sure everything's good for us to hook the gas up or the water up for them to get it to the house. We pretty much make sure everything's safe.
Okay. And I'm going to draw your attention back to October 11th of 2022. Did you go out to a certain
I don't get this. Just ask one of the utility guys. Did you hear any argument? No. Okay, bye-bye.
First appointment at 1270 Parish Avenue?
Yes.
And do you remember what time that appointment was?
The appointment's for 8 o'clock.
Okay, did you arrive on time?
Yes.
Did you go in a vehicle or a city of Hamilton vehicle with other coworkers?
Yes, I rode with crew leader.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I rode with the crew leader in the crew leader truck, Shorty.
Okay, you
Yeah.
say the crew here, you mean people outside?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And did you all three go up to the house together?
Yes.
And do you remember who answered the door?
A woman.
Woman answered the door?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you notice any animals with her?
Yes, she had a dog.
Okay. Do you remember, I'm not saying the breed exactly, but do you remember, can you describe the dog you
It's
saw?
a big dog.
Big
Like
dog.
big,
Okay.
like she had hold of it for good reason.
Okay,
Yeah, it's a big dog.
all right. And did you go in the house?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see anyone else in the house besides the woman that answered the door?
Yes.
Who did you see in the house?
I'm not sure who it was.
Okay. Where was that person?
So we walked in the door and then took a left and started walking kind of through maybe like a doorway area. And someone was sitting in a recliner on the left-hand side,
Okay.
kind of laying down.
Were they asleep, awake? Did they interact with you?
Kind of in and out. One of the guys said, "What's up to him?"
Objection.
Approach, please.
I don't get what that objection was over. But again, I still don't get why we need all four utility. Do they have four unique stories to talk about, or is it just again to reinforce that nothing happened when they were there? Hey, Michelle Underdown. Welcome to the channel. Welcome as a subscriber, and please contribute as much as possible to chat. Everyone is welcome in chat except Zach. I will never ever read super chats from Zach. Nicola, fake news. I don't give Baker any money, and I never read his super chats. But that's the only rule on the channel. The rest of you are good people. Zach, I don't acknowledge.
Judge, based on sidebar, I'll withdraw that objection.
Very well, thank you.
Understanding what's said.
Did you see the person? I think I asked you if they were asleep or awake, and you said they were kind of in and out.
Kind of in and out. Yeah, it looked like maybe they were just waking up.
Okay. Did
Yeah.
they interact with you at all?
Not me personally, no.
Okay. And did the female that answered the door, did she show you guys the way to where I assume you needed to see the furnace or the water heater?
We actually needed to see the gas meter because we had to pressure test that to make sure there was no leaks, make sure it was safe inside the house and going outside of the house, so we could pressurize the line to get them gas.
Okay.
If the gas wasn't on at the
And
moment.
did she show you the way to get downstairs to where that was, or?
If I remember right, I think she kind of pointed because she had the dog. She was not letting go of that dog, so she kind of pointed like, "Hey, it's right around that corner there."
Okay.
As far as I remember.
All right. And did you go into the basement then
Yes.
to perform the service?
Yes.
Okay. And were you then, did it pass the test that you performed?
No, it failed.
And why is that?
If I'm not mistaken, there was a leak on the inside lines. So their inside lines failed. I think our lines failed also. I can't remember exactly. But there was also an issue with the furnace. Like it wasn't vented properly. I think there was some stuff missing, maybe some tape and stuff like that. So we couldn't turn it on safely.
Okay. And then you came back upstairs, correct?
Yep.
All right. Was that male person that you saw, was he still in the same spot?
Yes.
Still in the chair?
Yes.
And so you went through the front door and then to the left and then downstairs, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Wendy.
Through the kitchen.
I'm sorry.
Through the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a door.
Seemed like the house is being renovated.
Yeah. Everything was kind of being remodeled. It looked like sort of.
Okay. And was there any furniture that was like overturned or any signs of struggle to you?
No.
Was it you or one of your coworkers that informed her, the female, that you couldn't?
Oh, it's just to establish the timeline of when it happened. Now I get it, but still, you don't need fall for that. And thank you, Nicola Maxwell. And well, Zach is never embarrassing me because I don't see Zach. So it's easy not to embarrass me.
Hook up the gas, I guess, for lack of a better term.
That was Brian Short, crew leader.
Okay, all right. You then, I guess you guys went back out to your car and left?
Yes.
And when you left there, that the female that you saw holding the dog, she was alive?
Yeah, she was fine.
1 second.
Yeah, he cheats on me with Brandy. I know that. But what can you do? Zach is a rolling stone. He doesn't have enough in one guy. He also needs a woman.
That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Cross-examination.
Good morning, sir.
Hello.
You said that you, at some point, when you were out of this residence, you yourself went to the basement.
Yes.
Were you the only one, or did the other two go down there as well?
The other two went with me.
So there was a grand total of 3 service workers, so to speak, that went down to the basement to check on these systems. And
2 maintenance workers and a crew leader.
what were the systems you were checking in the basement? What were they?
So pretty much you have gas pipe that comes in the house.
Anyone knows where he's going with this? So it was a gas leak that made him go cray, or I don't understand this line of questioning.
That meets up to a meter, and then after the meter, it runs to the rest of the house to feed the rest of the house appliances, gas, whether that be a stove, furnace, water heater, stuff like that.
Okay.
And we were pretty much checking to make sure that those lines didn't have any leaks in them, because once the gas is turned off, you have to do a pressure test, and that's since a couple things have changed, but you do like 10 pounds for 10 minutes, and that ended up actually failing the test.
When you were down in the basement, did it appear messy?
Not that I can remember.
Do you remember there being like clothes just thrown on the floor down there? Is that something you recall?
No,
I
not,
know it's been 2 years.
it's been a long time. Not that I can remember, so I can't recall if there's.
Fair. You said you saw, when you went in, you saw this guy laying in a recliner.
Mhm.
Did you speak to him at all?
I did not.
Did the person in the chair appear angry or upset in any way?
No, they seemed sleepy, like kind of in and out.
Or would you describe it as calm and docile, just not doing much?
Kind of just in and out, not very awake, just kind of waking up, sort of like they were just waking up from.
Did you observe any interaction between the woman who had the dog, who called for the service, and the gentleman in the recliner? Did you observe any kind of interaction between the two of them?
No.
Did they have any kind of interaction with her? I know you didn't observe any. I don't want to assume that means you didn't see anything. But
Personally, I did not see any.
okay.
I think it's because the state attorney has I think he has a lapel mic on because it makes noise every time he gets near another microphone. So I think that's why an defense attorney doesn't turn it around, so we can't hear him.
How long were you at the residence that morning?
Grand total, I was probably there for about 20 minutes, inside the house for 15.
All right, so you were from the time
Ish.
of arrival. Oh, I'm sorry.
Ish, that's
Ish.
rough, yeah.
Got it. So from your time of arrival, pulling up, parking the vehicle, and then getting in the vehicle to leave, approximately what, 35, 45 minutes-ish kind of thing?
Yeah, maybe, 25 minutes, or somewhere around there, yeah.
Not very long. You weren't there for more than that.
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Any redirect?
They didn't mention anything the first day. As I said, if they just sped it up and didn't.
No, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down.
If they don't bring in unnecessary witnesses, the state should be done by today. That's
I don't,
there's actually nothing in it. They just need to bring in the ME, show the jury the crime scene photos, and then have the lead investigator testify and play the video of him admitting to it in court. You could be done by lunch.
I don't have any need to make him subject to recall like Mr. Wilder.
No, he's
You're released from your subpoena. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, you may call your next witness.
He must be.
I would call Stanley Brock.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you tell everybody name, please, and spell your last name?
I'm Stanley Brock, BROCK.
How are you employed?
I work for the gas and water department. The city of Hamilton.
How long have you been with the city?
5 years.
And what are your duties and
Well,
responsibilities?
that's
Gas and water maintenance.
state can't call the defendant to the state. That's only the defendant who can choose to testify.
So low man, take ditches, do stuff like that.
Okay. And were you were working on October 11th, 2022?
Yep,
Do you remember going out to a scheduled service appointment at 1270 Parish Avenue?
I do.
And what time was that appointment?
Approximately 8 in the morning.
Okay. And you went with a coworker that just
Tyler.
got out of here?
Yep.
Yes. And who else?
Our curly call him Shorty, his name's Brian.
Okay.
And then Rick was on the job as well.
All right. Do you remember if you arrived there on time?
Yeah, we were right on time, obviously. We normally are, so we're starting around 8 o'clock now.
I believe the three of you rode together, correctly?
Yes.
Rick was the one that did not ride. He
Correct.
drove separately.
Yeah, he does different job duties than we do.
And do you remember going up to the door with your coworkers?
I do.
Okay. Do you remember who answered the door?
Female answered the door, and I do recall she had a dog with her.
Okay. Do you remember what he described the dog? I'm not asking you for the breed.
It was a larger dog, it was a bulky dog. I remember saying, I hope she can hold on to that dog, because it was kind of barking a little bit, so.
Okay. All right. And did you go inside?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Did you see anyone else inside besides the female and the dog?
When I turned left to go to the basement, it's kind of just one track. I saw someone sitting in a chair, but I didn't see anything.
Male or female?
I couldn't tell you. I covered up. I just saw feet while I was walking by. I try to not look around too much and be nosy at people's places. So I just get to the point and go where I'm going.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Okay. Was that person in the chair, were they asleep or awake, or do you know?
I don't know. I just saw their feet in the chair, so
Didn't
didn't
interact
move,
with
didn't interact, didn't move when I went by. So,
them? All right. And you guys went to the basement, correct?
We did, yes.
All right. And I know from prior testimonies, when just going through it again and again, whatever test you performed that didn't work out, you couldn't turn the gas on, correct?
correct. They failed due to like the furnace isn't hooked up correctly or something along the lines to where it's unsafe for gas to be put through the system.
Okay. And how long would you say you guys were in the basement down there?
20 minutes, at most 15, 20 minutes.
All right.
Wouldn't be long. It didn't take long to realize, hey, this isn't going to work. So no need to be down there any longer.
Okay. Go back up the same way that you came down,
Same way I came up.
and was the person in the chair still there?
Still in the chair. Like I said, I didn't see anything. I just saw a person sitting in a chair and I saw their feet because that's the first thing I saw. Take a right and then go out the door.
Okay. And where was the female that you saw that answered the door?
If you were walking out, she'd be sitting on a couch that was right here. Yeah.
She had a hold of the dog?
She did.
And did you or Shorty, your crew leader,
Yeah,
did you
Brian.
talk to her, or did you?
I said hello in passing, like just coming through the front door, like, but I never spoke with her.
I guess let me rephrase it. Did you explain to her what the problem was, or
No,
did
I
your
did
crew
not.
leader?
No,
Okay.
I didn't explain anything.
All right. And did it look like this house was being renovated or
It
working?
did, yeah. It looked under construction, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said there was she was sitting on a couch, and
Yeah, if you walked into the door, there was a couch like right there, as I
Okay.
recall, and she was just sitting on that couch.
then was there some other furniture like cabinets or anything?
Just nothing out of the norm, just normal stuff. It was more of the kitchen that felt like was being renovated and being worked on as you were coming through there.
Any of the furniture in disarray or turned over like it looked like a struggle?
No, not at all.
And when you walked out and left there, was that female alive?
Yeah, she was.
I think that's all the questions I
All
have.
right, thank you. Cross-examination.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Well, he didn't have the video at that time, but he has it now.
I want to talk to you real quick about the dog.
Okay.
You said the female was holding the dog back.
Yeah, she was holding the dog by the collar, yeah.
Was the dog pretty aggressive?
It was a normal interaction with the homeowner and their dog. If the door's being opened and closed, you don't want the dog to get out. He barked a couple times, but nothing.
Did you have concern that if she were to have let go of that dog might have come after you, or he was just?
I wouldn't have wanted him to come after me by any means, yeah, but I mean, she had a hold of him, so he was fine. He was just vocal. There were people in his house.
Right, but did you get the impression when she told that dog that if she were to let go of that dog may have went to you?
Possibly, it could have. I mean, it was looking at us when we were walking through, but we were also walking by it, so.
And I know you said this person that you saw in the chair, you can't even tell us if that's male or female, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I can't tell you which.
Sorry. You said.
Yeah.
Did you hear that person in the chair say anything or do
No.
anything?
No.
And I know you said that you go into these houses, you're respecting people's privacy.
Correct. Yeah.
You're not trying to snoop or look into things. correct?
Absolutely. I just get to where I have to go.
You're basically going into the part of the house that you're there to fix.
Correct.
Right? So did you spend a lot of time looking around the house to see what they were renovating and where they positioned furniture and what they were trying to hang in?
No, it just seemed, it was an old path to get to where I was going. And it looked like the kitchen was being remodeled of some sort. So.
But you were asked about the furniture, but it was fair to say that you didn't pause and to look around and have a great interest in what.
I didn't stop and like take a 360 and check the whole place out, but it seemed normal, if you will.
How much time do you think you spent in the presence of the woman who had the dog? Or was it just you passed her and that was it?
Just in passing by, yeah.
What was her demeanor like? She seemed pleasant?
Seemed fine, yeah.
She didn't seem angry or upset?
No.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Any redirect?
No,
Okay, thank you, sir. You may step down.
Okay, thank you.
we don't want him subject to recall on this.
Correct, he's free.
All right, you're released from your subpoena. Thank you. Next witness, please.
Brian Short.
Your Honor, while Mr. Hoffman's getting this for us, maybe we have a quick sign.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm just writing something because Julie from Court TV really cracks my eggs. I know I make fun of him, and chat makes fun of him. But if you are the anchor on Court TV, which claims to be a serious network, and you put up on TwitSweat #crybaby, somebody get him a pacifier. Then you show, just like you did in the Karen Reed case, you have absolutely no way to stay unbiased. I think this is I'm not for canceling people, but Julie Grant seems more like she's running a Facebook wine mom group than being the face of one of the biggest YouTube channels.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to have a chair like that. Again, I can make fun all I want because I'm a small YouTube channel with 250 people watching me. But she's the face of an entire corporation. If I offend people, which I do most days, I lose 1, 2, 5 subscribers. She will now be the face of Court TV. Her horrendous way she acted during the Karen Reed case. I'm not saying they should fire her. I think they should give her guidelines that she has to portray herself like maybe a little bit unbiased, because it's kind of like discussing politics, which I don't do because I don't care what you vote for. If I started saying I really support Joe Johnson Jr. Jackaro, you would all the people who were against him would say, I hate that guy. You're just splitting the audience.
May I proceed?
You may. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you tell everybody your name and spell your last name, please?
Brian Short, SHORT,
And how are you employed, sir?
City Hampton,
How long have you been with the city?
18 years.
What are your, what's your title or your duties and responsibilities?
I'm a crew leader.
Okay.
I take guys out. We work
Okay, and what department are you in for the city?
gas and water.
So gas and water, what does that mean when you're being a crew leader? What are your extra responsibilities or what the other gentlemen here?
I'm the boss.
You're the boss, all right, fair enough. And were you working on October 11th of 2022?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember going out to a service appointment at 1270 Parish Avenue?
Yeah.
And what time was that appointment?
8 o'clock.
Did you guys get there on time?
Yeah.
And I believe that was the other gentleman that testified, did you go in one car together with your crew? If you recall.
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember going up to the house?
Yeah.
All right. Did you guys all go up to the house together?
That I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I usually knock on the door first and then they follow.
Okay. And do you remember who answered the door that morning on October 11th at 1270 Parish?
Yeah, like,
A lady?
yeah.
Okay. You don't remember her name, that's fine. Did she have any pets or animals there?
Yeah. It looked like a pit bull or something. Yeah, it was a big dog.
Big dog?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other animals in the house?
No.
When you saw the dog, did she have a hold of it or?
Oh, yeah. She was, once she sat back down on the couch, she was holding the dog.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
We make sure that
Okay. Is that the type of dog that makes you nervous or are you worried that
Oh, yeah.
she didn't have a hold of it or?
that dog, yeah. You know, but I've had all kinds of dogs. You know,
I really don't know.
small ones, big ones, we make sure they put them away.
Okay, all right. Did you see anyone else in the house besides her?
Yeah, there was somebody else in there.
And where, was this a male or a female?
It was a male.
Do you remember where that person was?
When you walk in, there's like a little room to the left. They were in like a chair, laying there.
Okay, and were they awake or asleep?
They were asleep at first.
Okay. And did you have to go past that person to get to the basement or?
Yeah, and you walk through, and I think it's the kitchen, and then there's like a little room right here. And that's where that person was. And then we just went down to the basement and did what we had to do.
Okay, and the service, you performed the service, but it's my understanding you could not hook up the gas, correct?
Correct. The furnace wasn't, it was all tore apart. So when we see that, we don't turn the gas on because they got to get a heating air guy in there.
Okay, all right. Do you remember about how long you were down in the basement?
Probably 15 minutes.
Okay. And then you came back up the same way you went down? Did you go back past the person in the chair that you
Yeah.
saw?
Yeah.
Did that person ever interact with you at
Yeah.
all?
Yeah, they started kind of like waking up, and I said, "What's up?" And he's like, "Hey," and then that was it.
Okay, all right, so you walked past them, and then where'd you go after you walked past him?
Once we were done,
Yeah.
I went to the door because that dog,
Okay.
front door, or
All right.
front door, and
Okay,
then I let the lady know that everything passed, but we couldn't turn the gas on because the furnace wasn't right.
okay, so you explained the situation to her?
Yeah.
What was her reaction when you explained that situation to her?
She looked over at the person in the other room and stared at me for probably 3 or 4 seconds,
Okay,
and then looked back at me and said, "We'll get it taken care of."
okay.
So
All right. And
I
was
need to
he
vibrate right back.
still in that chair?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you notice, like, in the room where she was there any furniture that was overturned or disarray or sign of struggle to you?
No.
And when you left there, was that female alive?
Yeah.
I think that's all the questions I have. Thank
Very
you.
well. All right, cross-examination.
The person that you saw in the chair who responded, "Hey," to you, did that person appear to be angry in any way?
No.
What kind of demeanor was that person giving to you? Demeanor, like how they were acting?
Seemed like they were starting to wake up, they've been sleeping, it seemed to me.
You said that when you explained to the woman, service couldn't be initiated or whatever the term that you used, you said she looked at the person in the chair for 3 to 4 seconds. Is that yes?
Yes.
Did she seem upset when she was staring, or what kind of stare was she giving him?
She just like stared, like kind of like it's hard to explain, kind of like a what are we gonna do, or kind of couldn't believe it type of look, like couldn't believe what I was saying.
Did it appear that was, I don't know if deflating is the right word, but maybe she was wanting to hear something? Did it appear she wanted to hear that it was going to be okay, but it's not okay? She felt kind of down, like,
Yes.
oh man.
Yeah.
Or did she appear mad in any way?
She didn't seem mad, no.
And you said she stared at the man over the chair for 3 to 4 seconds. Did the person in the chair do anything in response?
No.
Did that person look at her?
I could not see him.
I know it's been 2
Well,
years.
there's a wall right there, maybe back behind it, so I couldn't see what that person was doing.
Was there anything else that you observed about this woman you interacted with that was unusual that day?
No.
Did she appear mad or angry or upset?
No.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Any redirect?
No,
Okay, sir, you may step down. Thank
Why didn't he just bring one of these witnesses and that was it? This is a waste of time.
Again, we don't be him subject to these laws.
Yeah, he's not subject.
All right, sir, you'll be released from your subpoena. Thank you. Okay, so it seems like at this time, it'll be a good time for us to take our morning break. We'll go ahead and do that and come back at 10:30. We'll be back at 10:30 then. Thank you.
Oh, that was a motion. That was a quick break. We're an hour and 30 minutes in. No, they didn't see anything, hear anything, do anything. Is there a motion or is it just more talky talk? Come on. Holly Mac, 2 seconds, I'll
Okay,
give
the
you one.
jurors have been excused from the courtroom. As I understand it, the next witness needed transportation from the sheriff. Sergeant, is that witness available to us at this time? Thank you. Okay, anything else before we take our recess, Mr.
Just
Barnes?
say she's here. Will we have access to her, or will the bail, or somebody ask her if she wishes to be filmed or not to that report?
Okay. And
Thank you, sir, I appreciate it.
anything else?
There you go. Thank you.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Wilder?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay, we'll be back at 10:30 then. Thank you.
Okay, it was because they needed a witness to come in. Recap of today, nothing. We had an officer saying she arrived, he was doing what looked like CPR to her, and she pulled him off the deceased woman. She could instantly see there was no reason to try to perform CPR. Then we had 4 utility workers stating that, yeah, we were there, didn't see anything, and I now know to figure out if you can turn the gas back on, you will have to do 10 pounds for 10 minutes pressure to, I'm losing a screen. I have a screen that's starting to act up. That's annoying. But you have to do a 10-minute, 10-pound pressure test to show that you can turn the furnace back on. When they left, they said, "Yeah, we can't turn it back on." She looked at the guy in the chair and looked at them and said, "We'll get it fixed." That's what we did in the first couple of hours. And again, this is from yesterday. The prosecutor will have one witness who was in the courtroom at some point doing this yesterday that he will play this for. Let's just see it again.
Listen, yeah, I'm responsible for what happened to her. I didn't mean it. We got into it. And I'm so sorry. Listen.
And I still can't see how the defense attorney is gonna spin that when this will be shown to the jury, because the judge said, yeah, it'll be fine. So why we are still doing this is the big question, because he admitted to doing it. I don't think when the jury sees this, they're going to sit there and say, well, I don't think so. That is English, Zach. I know a lot of you Americans have a little bit of a problem with it, but that is English. But yes, he's a special little cookie. He is on his 6th lawyer. He tried to get rid of him as well, and the judge wouldn't allow it, which probably was a good idea. Imagine that guy being pro se. He did start to cry today when they showed the crime scene photos. We didn't see him on screen, but they showed them in court. And I have an idea, if you have stabulated someone 55 times, the jury will probably not think it was a slip and fall accident. So I think that one. Yes, he is. As I hear it, he admits it. What happened, I didn't mean it. It's my responsibility. They can say, well, it was because I was swept up in a drug bust, lost 300 grams of meth. So someone came to the house and unalived me. But that's the problem with third-party culprits defenses. You really have to lay it out there that there might have been someone else doing it. And the defense didn't take their chance to go into any of that during opening statements, because that's where you present the third party. If, again, we go back to the Karen Reed case, as many of us have watched, they laid out that there might have been someone else who could have done it, that it wasn't Karen Reed. Now the jury is just sitting there wondering, we just heard 4 utility guys were there in the morning and nothing happened. Okay. And we heard a police officer say she was there a couple of hours later and something had happened. We heard them ask, we heard the defense attorney ask about if the back door was damaged. So I'm thinking they're going to go with some kind of third party culprit, but you would have to have kind of introduce that to the jury, so they will be sitting up there and thinking, yeah, but those utility guys wouldn't have seen it if those Petco Mafia members arrived an hour later. It could be the Petco Mafia. We know the Petco Mafia is out there. So, yeah, it's going to be... yeah, I really can't see the defense, and I can't see any of the defense they have been going with today has any way of helping with this. I just don't know what they will believe to get. I don't know. Have any of you got any idea? Because he hasn't really done anything other than ask about how you do a pressure test on a gas furnace. I don't know. Thank you, Holly Mack, for 5 gifted memberships to Virginia Little, Maria Moss, Joe Biffle, Texas Brand, and Gloss. Thank you so much, Holly Mack. I think they're throwing spaghetti. Yeah, in Denmark we call it throwing pudding at the wall. and see what sticks. We actually have a famous political quote for trying to figure out what one party meant was like trying to catch pudding between your fingers, because they're always chased. Well, Steve, have a good run to the bank. Remember your balaclava. Well, he complained that he had some problems with the people working at the jail, so that's why he chose to start. He started his 19-year sentence for his drug bust, even though he could have stayed as long as this is still ongoing and he has an appeal in the other case. Oh, you just put it up right after I said it. You can't force someone to plead guilty. If he refused to plead guilty, we still have a trial. Our tax dollars at work. I know, Boomer. I know. But again, how is the defense lawyer? Because he's ethically in a kind of a conundrum here, because he heard it. He will, of course, say, well, it wasn't that he testified to, because, ethically, he can't try and point the finger at the Petco mafia after he admitted it. You're not, as a defense lawyer, you can't go in and say, I know Johnny did it, but I'm going to point my finger at Bo. Max Security in Ohio is a hay farm. Hay, back. I've never been to Ohio. No, that was Iowa I was close to. Was it? Yeah. What's next to Illinois? I don't know. Yeah, because he can get into a lot of ethical problems. Because, again, to me, listening to that video, it's a confession. Yeah. See you, Celestial. Ohio is like Western Pennsylvania. Boring. I've been to the airport in Pennsylvania, but I don't know anything about the place. We don't know. But I'm saying if they don't want to, he listed the people we were hearing, we would be hearing from yesterday. We had the daughter, we had the first arriving detective, we had the 4 utility workers already, and Emmy is supposed to be called. I believe the lead detective will also be called, and this next one, I don't know who that is. It's someone who's in jail. I'm unless they're going to go very into a lot of details, and I'm thinking the state is just sitting there thinking, yeah, we just need to get all the evidence in that we need and make sure that we have a line of custody established, and then we want to show the video and say hasta la taco, and that video will be played again during closing arguments, I'm pretty sure. He can't stop the client from tanking the case. He can only man the bail bucket on the sinking ship. Yeah. Yes, he was. Well, I don't know if he did them, but he was apprehended with 300 grams of meth in a suitcase, Sarah Boone style. And the police said, we're going to let him out if he turns informer. But just like Snow don't turn informer, neither did Toby. So they had to arrest him again. And that sadly was a bit too late. But he has already been sentenced to 19 years for the drugs. I wonder if the jury will have to go to the deliberation room at the end, probably just exchange look and agree on the spot. Well, we always say that, and no matter if we think they're guilty and innocent, and we have to wait 4 hours every time. Baker, the Ohio locals say, oh, and then you have to say, yo. Weird. Yeah, maybe they're using, well, he talks in his sleep like they did in the Zachariah Anderson case, which was very much BS. Like in Denmark, you say den, and the reply is, we will never say that. We'll say, hey, or we'll say, goddag, or we'll say, moin. No, there's no lesser. You can't be temporary insanity. You can't get convicted temporary insanity. Again, like we saw in the Carly Gregg case, if you want to go with the insane plea, you have to go with it fully. You can't be a little bit pregnant. So you have to go out there and say, well, he's insane. Because if you say I was insane when I did it, you have to admit you did it. So he can't say I'm innocent. That's you have to say I'm innocent by way of insanity, and they haven't brought forward that part. So he can't claim insanity. Well, he can, but doesn't matter. Yeah, instead of those, this is your egg on, this is your mind on whatever it was with the egg. Just show these cases. I don't know if he has an uncle named John who drives on a bus because he doesn't like flying. I love that someone told me in my comments that who John Madden was. I played a lot of John Madden. I'm a Giants fan. And I love that you just put up jokes Baker won't get right after. Are you new here, Marissa? I get all the jokes. No. Well, Becca, I'm pretty sure I was. I have to get my America map. Oh, it's all the way over there. So it's probably not like because I've been to Illinois, and that's flat. It's weird driving that your eyes get tired before you see anything. I don't know how flat Ohio is, but when I go to visit Jamie in Michigan, and then I have to hopefully the expert will see me again. Maybe I'll drive through Ohio when I go down. Thinking maybe I should do like a start out in New York and go down to Jersey and then into Michigan. That could be a
We're
fun
back
trip.
on the record in State versus Madden without the jury being present. Mr. Burris, Mr. Hahn, and Detective Horton are present on behalf of the state of Ohio, and Mr. Wilder and Mr. Madden are also present. Before the jurors come in, is there anything on behalf of the state of Ohio?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
Anything on behalf of the defendant?
Nothing, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, let's bring in the jurors.
I haven't been further west than Illinois. Yes, I will, but I won't be covering the hearing going on right now because I'm covering this trial. Yes, I was in New York with my kids in 17 or 18. Didn't like it. Don't like big cities. It'll probably be in the spring sometime. I don't know when you go to the beach. I didn't drive through Delaware the first time I was in Delaware. I stayed in Delaware for a week.
Please be seated. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I have to tell you, I'm impressed. You've really got this lineup down early on in this case. Before we continue, do you have any violations of the court's recess instructions that you need to report? Okay. All right, the next witness, please.
Steve was all Ann Mayers.
It's just, I don't like it. It's too many big buildings, too many people. It's one of those, everyone says you have to go there, and a lot of Danish people are, oh, I'm going to take a long weekend in New York. I couldn't see anything wonderful with it, probably because I was flying home the day after I arrived and I had to drive across Manhattan. Really hated that part. But I like smaller places. Dr. Clue.
Okay, you may proceed.
Thank you.
Is that the neighbor?
Good morning, ma'am. Morning. Can you tell everybody your name, please?
Ann Mayers.
Okay. And I see by what you're wearing that currently an inmate at the Butler County Jail?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Am I correct in saying that you're there because you recently entered a guilty plea to aggravated robbery with a 1-year gun specification?
Yes.
Okay. And was that for robbing the our group credit union on Route 4 in Fairfield Township on April 19th of this year?
Yes, it is.
2020.
Granny with some spunk. She robbed a credit union. Well, Ohio seems to be on the map for cray-cray now.
4, correct? Okay. And you're still waiting for your sentencing date?
Yes.
Okay, so, all right. And have you received any consideration or promises from the state of Ohio for your testimony here today?
No.
No one's promised you that you're going to get a lighter sentence or anything like that if
No,
you
sir.
testify here today?
No, sir.
Okay. Why are you testifying here today?
Because I should.
Okay, all right. Well, then I'm going to take you back to October 11th of 2022, okay? Back at that time, on October 11th of 2022, where were you living at?
I believe this is the neighbor who called 911. I don't know, but I believe so.
60 Parish Avenue.
Okay, and is that right next door to 1270?
Yes, it is.
So if I were standing on Parrish Avenue and I were standing in front of 1270, would your house be to the left or to the right?
To the left.
To the left, thank you. Now I'm going to show you what's been, may I approach with?
You may.
Let me show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 237.
No, she's not a jailhouse snitch. She's the neighbor who, I believe she's the one calling 911.
That's right.
Okay, can you just explain to me what is this picture?
This is the picture where the neighbor was murdered, and this is where I live, and that right there is me.
Okay, all right. And would you say this is a true and fair representation of the way your house looked and the other house looked on
Exactly.
October 11th?
Exactly.
I would ask that the State's Exhibit 237 be admitted and published.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, it'll be admitted and it may be published.
Okay. All right, so, if I may stand by the screen, I'll do, is that all right if I do the pointing since
Sure.
she's, okay. So, ma'am, is this 270 right here?
1270.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
1270?
Yes.
Okay, and this is 1260 right here?
Yes.
Mr. Hahn, there is a point.
Oh, yeah, I am short, so that might be of assistance.
Don't say that around Sarah.
This is 1270 here?
Yes.
Okay. And you said this is 1260 your house, correct?
Yes.
When I saw these stairs the first time, I thought, and everyone here this is the drug addict neighborhood. Imagine, I know how I walk when I had a few Malorts too many. I would break my leg every other day.
All right.
Well, I don't drink every other day, but if I did.
And are you sitting on the porch here?
I'm the tolerable head one.
This one?
This one's no, that's my sister.
That's
I'm
your
the
sister?
other one.
Okay, you're that one.
Yes.
Right there. Okay. And you said that's your sister on the porch with you. Did you live with your sister?
My sister lived with me.
Your
That
sister
was my house.
That was yours. I'm sorry. Okay.
That's all right.
And how long did you live at 1260?
Well, I lived there since I was 5 years old,
Okay.
until I moved away from home.
Okay. And then you moved back at
Well,
some
I
point?
moved back to take care of my parents
Okay.
before they died.
Okay. All right. When did your sister move in with you?
Probably in
2019?
2019.
Okay. Now, on October 11th, at that time, did you know the people that lived next door to you at 1270?
I don't know when they moved in.
If
There
you
were so
Google the
many
case,
people
it'll come
that
up.
moved in that house
Mm-hmm.
because it was a vacant home and it was a rental. And there were people and people and people. And then Rachelle and Toby,
Okay, so you knew Rachelle and Toby? You knew who they were?
yeah,
Okay. Do you see Toby in the courtroom today?
yes, I do. Sitting right there in the blue shirt.
Let the record reflect you identified Mr. Madden.
The record will so reflect.
And now, were you on your porch on the morning of, I know you were in this picture, but this is later in the afternoon.
Well, if you get close to the house, you can see windows are missing and stuff like that. So it's kind of like girls on Instagram. They look good from far away.
In the morning of October 11th, were you on your porch that
Yes.
morning? And
Almost every morning.
almost every morning you're on your porch? What's your routine? What do you do?
Well, Sissy's
Hamilton.
raising her grandson.
I'm sorry, Sissy is,
Linda,
That's your
Mayer, my
sister?
sister,
okay.
is raising her grandson.
Mm-hmm.
And we have him, and he, at that time, went to Crawfordwood School, which was down on the next block.
Mm-hmm.
And he would leave at 8:15, and we would try to be out there drinking coffee and checking the phone and so he could wave to us every 5 or 6 steps by, like
Okay.
kid. And it was around 8:15. And he went to school and I stayed on the porch drinking coffee, went in, got another cup, and my sister.
Is this where you're talking about October 11th?
Yes.
Yeah, right, okay.
My sister went in because she didn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed there and probably at least a couple hours.
Okay. Drinking.
She is living in a state subsidized facility because she took a pew to a bank teller.
Your coffee?
Yeah,
Okay.
looking at the phone.
Okay. But you said he goes to school at 8:15?
He did then, yes.
He did then, okay, back in 22, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, he's older now.
Mhm.
Maybe I should, when I become a millionaire, instead of moving to Tennessee, I should move to Ohio. It sounds cheap.
And at some point that morning when you're on your porch, did you hear something out of
Yes,
the
I did.
ordinary?
I heard a scream.
You heard a scream, okay. What direction? Where did
This
you hear?
direction.
So you're pointing to your left, correct?
Yes.
Would that be towards 1270 then?
Yes.
All right. What time do you think you heard that?
Well, before I went in,
Sometime after he left?
oh yeah.
Okay.
Hours, a couple hours.
Okay, all right. Well, let me ask you this first. So how old are you right now?
I'm 75,
Okay, so you would have been
73.
73 on October 11th of 22. And do you have any hearing issues?
Yes, I wear hearing aids.
Okay, you have your hearing aids in now?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right. Did you have your hearing aids in on that morning on October 11th?
See, I don't remember if I
Okay,
had them in or not. Usually I wear them as soon
okay,
as I get up, but you know, if I'm just sitting on the porch, sometimes I don't wear them. So I can't say yes and I can't say no.
okay. All right, fair enough. What'd you think when you heard that scream?
Well, I didn't know what it was. It was, can I give an example?
Sure.
It was like you open a door and something flew at you. It was just a like that.
Okay,
Maybe 5-6 seconds.
okay,
But there's so many little kids in our neighborhood that I didn't know if it was a kid. I mean, you don't call the police because you hear a scream.
mhm,
I mean, I don't. There'd be
Okay.
police in our neighborhood all the time.
okay,
But that was what I heard.
okay.
And it was from this direction.
You're pointing to your left?
Yeah, to my left.
Okay.
It wasn't from over here. It was from over here.
Towards Toby and
Yeah.
Rachelle's house?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you said, I think you said you went back inside?
I did in a little while because I went in to fix breakfast.
She is in cuff because she took a pew into a bank and is now housed in a state subsidized facility.
Okay. And then at some point, did you come back out?
Yeah, all hell had broke loose.
Okay. And what do you mean by that?
Well, there were tons of policemen
Mm-hmm.
and women. And Toby was running down the steps screaming, she's dead, she's dead. There's 3 of them. There was 3 of them.
Oh,
And I didn't know. I never ever saw anybody until that moment come out of that house.
Okay.
That's all I saw and heard was a scream.
Okay. All right. Can I have 1 second?
You may.
but I now know what I need to add to my intro or outro. Oh, so
Ma'am, I appreciate you testifying. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hahn. Cross-examination, Mr. Wilder.
oh, Jimmy is in Florida.
Morning, man. I got a few questions for you. If you don't hear those, or if you're confused in any way, just let me know, okay? So we saw the picture there. So your front porch where you sat and you had your coffee and where
Yes.
you were that morning, you heard that scream. I mean, we're talking, what, 25, 30 feet away from the front porch of the
Yep.
parish?
Yes.
Where Toby and Rachelle were, right?
Yes?
You could throw your coffee cup and probably hit their porch or that close to them. Is
Oh,
that
yeah.
fair? Right? I think you identified this, but was your sister in the picture with you on the porch?
Yes.
You said you were the taller head person back
Yes.
to your sister, and your sister is Linda,
Yes.
and you referred to her as Sissy
Yeah.
during your You mentioned during your testimony that police are in our neighborhood all the time. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, off and on. Yeah, a lot of kids in our neighborhood.
But your testimony wasn't the police are in your neighborhood a lot. Is that fair?
I said I didn't want the
Right.
police to call the police. You don't call the police for everything.
All right, let's approach, please.
You don't call the police for anything. Well, we should have covered Granny's case. What? I talk too much.
Maybe you said you've lived in the residential home picture since you were 5 years old.
Until I left home when I was like 18 or 19.
2 years ago, you said you were 73 years old, still living in that house?
Yes.
In the year or two prior to that, did police have to respond to your neighborhood often?
No more than any other neighborhood.
So would police come out once a week or less?
Oh, no.
Was there a lot of drug activity near the residence you had on Parish?
Well, there were some, yes.
And when I ask about drug activity, you talking about people appearing on the influence of drugs, people selling drugs? What kind of drug stuff did you
I
see?
never saw anyone sell drugs.
So what kind of drug activity did you
I've
see?
seen people laying on the ground with syringes in their hand, but I've never seen actual buying and selling. I don't think I did. Of course, I don't know. I don't know anything about.
MBM, the most important part is he admitted to doing it yesterday. Today, the lead detective or the first arriving detective have talked, then 4 utility workers, and now Granny, the bank robber, is talking. She's the neighbor who called the police. Oh, and yesterday the daughter testified just that they had just moved in and the mom and dad was in an on and off relationship. Wasn't anything that interesting. And I can't figure out what the defense line is.
Drugs. We never had drugs when I was growing up.
These people you would see with syringes in their arm, was this near your home?
Mm-hmm.
You said yes?
Yes,
Sorry.
that's all right.
Is this something you observe when you're out on the porch in your
Yes.
morning routine?
Morning, afternoon, early evening.
Were you pleased to see that Rachelle and Toby had moved in?
She's a
I
fancy
was
kid.
pleased to see Rachelle.
Okay.
Because she was very nice and sociable.
Yes, she robbed a bank when she was 74, 75 years old.
All right. Is it fair to say that the people who'd been in and out of that house before Rachelle were people that you weren't too fond of?
Yes,
Were there any people that may have been engaging in the drug activity you described going in and out of that house that
Yes.
Rachelle had occupied?
before they came there.
All right.
Yes.
And isn't it true that 2 weeks before Rachelle moved in, there were people at 1270 Parish and they invited you in to look at the house?
Yeah, there were people fixing it up. I had been in there when I was a kid.
Okay. But did they invite you in the house to take a look
Yeah.
at it?
Mhm.
And those 2 weeks before Rachelle showed up at Parish, what kind of condition was the house in?
Well, they were renovating it, like putting in new cabinets and new flooring and.
I may be confusing there. I'm talking about before for you.
They mentioned before that she hasn't had her sentencing yet.
You know who Rachelle is. Did you enter the property 2 weeks
Yes, that's
before?
what I mean.
Okay.
Someone was renovating inside,
Okay.
putting up new cabinets and counters and flooring.
Had you ever been in the house without these things you just described?
When I was a kid. But no, that's the only time I've been in that house since I was a child.
Did you notice the broken windows on 1270
I
Parish?
never noticed anything like that, no.
Did you ever go inside the 1270 Parish residence with Rachelle at all?
No.
The workers who invited you into the house, was that Toby or Rachelle?
They weren't there yet. They didn't live there then.
So was this like a moving company, or do you remember who these movers
I guess the
were?
landlord or the real estate people hired them. I don't know who hired them.
You're outside every day on your porch, did you see these movers carrying junk out of the house?
No,
Did you see them take anything out of 1270 Parish?
no.
You just know that they may have been working on this.
Yeah, they had cabinets sitting on the floor and they were putting in new counters. It was 2 men.
Didn't mention.
Did you ever see Toby at the residence at 1270 Parish?
Not until they moved in.
Isn't it true that Rachelle was usually gone and Toby was there?
Yes,
So how many times did you think you saw Toby at Parish? Was it daily?
probably, yes.
Did you ever tell anyone from law enforcement that you were finally going to have good neighbors?
Yes.
And did you say neighbors?
Yeah, I said, we had met Rachelle and I said we were finally going to have a good neighbor.
Because you had not had very good experience with the people who had
No,
lived
it was a
close.
rental house
Right, and there have been drug people in and out of that house. Is
and
that
all
fair?
kinds of people in and out of that house.
I want to talk to you about the scream that you heard. Did you just hear one scream or did you hear multiple?
One scream, about 7 seconds, maybe long.
And I know you described it as someone opened the door, someone screaming, your testimony is that scream or what you heard was 5, 6, 7
Yeah.
seconds long?
And I never heard another thing.
Could you describe it as a male, female voice?
No.
Could you, I mean, had you ever spoken to Michelle out of the properties?
Yeah.
Yes. Were you able to decide if that was her screaming?
No, I never thought about it. It was like a high-pitched scream. So I don't know if that would be a woman or a man, but it was a high-pitched scream.
Did you just hear the one scream or did you
One
hear others?
scream.
Did you hear any arguments?
Nope.
Did you hear anybody yelling at somebody
Nope.
else? Did you hear anything which would have sounded like furniture toppling over onto the floor?
No.
And again, the pictures show us you're pretty close to that
Yes.
residence, correct?
Yes.
When you lived next door, were you ever able to hear other things from within the house, like music or tools?
Oh, yeah. You can hear that boom, boom, boom. You know, young kids, boom, boom, boom.
Did you also,
Oh,
did you ever hear tools being used on the inside of Mr. Madden?
Boom, 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 boom. That took me to your room. And not to be together forever and forever. Boom, 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 boom. I want you in my room.
So yes.
Yeah.
To your knowledge, was he trying to help with the renovation at all?
I don't know. The renovation was finished when they moved in. I mean, as finished as it was, I hadn't been back in the house, so I don't know how much
This is bank robber Granny, the neighbor.
was finished.
You said you heard this scream. Now, how long did you were on the porch, correct? How long did you stay on the porch until you went inside?
I don't know, close to maybe 10:15, somewhere around there, 10:30-ish, 11, 11:15. I don't remember exactly, but it was later than 10 o'clock.
Well, don't worry so much about the timing of it. As I'm trying to figure out how long, like how many minutes. Not did you look at
After the
clock?
scream?
Yeah, after the
Oh, I don't
scream, did you immediately go in the house?
No.
Or you sit out there for 15 more
No,
minutes?
because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know. I didn't know if it was a kid over there screaming. I didn't know. I know it come from this side and it was a high-pitched scream.
All right.
But I just went back to looking at the phone and then I said, well, I'll go fix breakfast.
Okay, so just to be clear, you did hear the scream.
Granny has nerves of steel. Yeah, someone is screaming next door. How about them dolphins?
Then you went back to your phone, went
Yeah.
back to your food.
I was outside for maybe 15 minutes or so, I guess. Then I went in and fixed breakfast.
All right. Where was your sister at when?
She went in earlier because she didn't feel good.
So when you heard the scream out on your porch, your sister was up next to you?
Right.
You said you stayed out there for approximately 15 minutes after the scream. Did you see anybody come into the residence or leave the residence?
No, I never saw anything.
At some point, you said you said Toby was running down the street screaming. Is that what you
No,
said?
I said down the stairs.
Upstairs.
We're on the high side of the street.
Yes.
Our property's up, across the street is flat. And he was coming down the steps. I don't know, they probably have 10 or 15 steps to come down off the porch.
Yeah, your residence is in Porch, a little bit up off.
Yeah, it's up, yeah.
Okay. So you heard Toby screaming while going down these steps to
Yeah.
Porch Road?
Mhm.
And when you observed this, were police already on the scene?
Mhm.
Is that yes?
Yes, I'm sorry,
It's,
yes.
it's okay. I do it too.
That's
For the
all right.
record, we got to know if that's yes. All right. So when you observed this, police were already there. You know how many police cars were out there? Did you
Oh,
know?
my, a lot.
Was there
a lot.
an ambulance out there at the time? You remember?
I don't remember.
So, you saw Toby go down the steps screaming. What did he say?
He said, she's dead, somebody killed her, there were 3 of them.
Where did he go to? He went down the steps. Where did
And he came over right in front of my property, right in front of where we were sitting. And there was a policeman that came on this side of him and a policeman that came on this side of him. Because I started to go down to find out what was wrong with him, because he was,
Was he hysterical?
yeah, you could say that.
Was there any calmness to him at all?
No,
Did you notice anything on his hands? His hands were bloody at
No.
all? Do you have any weapons or anything in
No.
his hands? Did he make any other statements other than what
that's
you?
all he said.
Did he try to run away from the police?
No,
Is that the only time that you saw Toby that day? Was when he-
Yes.
When he was going down the steps screaming?
yes, sir.
What about Rachelle? Did you see her at any point that day?
No. I was wondering, because the dog was always there. She had a dog, he had a dog, I don't know, a big old sloppy thing. Old, 2 steps, go to sleep. And I wondered where the dog was all day.
So you didn't see the dog at all?
Not until much later
When we say much later, this is after the police.
in the afternoon.
No, this is bank robber Granny. She hold up a credit union with a pew pew. So she's also the neighbor. She heard us scream, which she and reenacted for us, but didn't call 911 because you don't call 911 for anything. And they had an old sloppy dog.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any redirect, Mr. Hahn?
Yes, sir.
Maybe he ran out after the police arrived.
And Mr. Wilder just asked you, you were pleased to see Toby and Rachelle move in, and I think you said you were glad to see Rachelle move in, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Were you not glad to see Toby move in?
Toby was strange.
What do you mean by that?
I don't really know, but he was always over at the house wanting something.
Whose house?
My house,
Over your house?
yes.
What do we mean, want something?
He wanted to use the Wi-Fi, he wanted to use the telephone, he wanted to, and no.
Okay.
Now, when I say this, he was like on something crazy. He wasn't normal.
Okay. Did he make you nervous?
Yeah, very.
Okay. Would you say you're scared of him?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, is that
Yeah,
yes?
yes.
Okay, all right.
I think we should do a group
Hang on 1 second.
a group photo and say, "Hey, Granny, scream for me, Queen."
Man, thank you. That's all I have.
Well, I like her because she screamed at me.
Anytime that you've met with anybody to discuss how you feel about Mr. Madden is after he'd been arrested and charged with murder. Is that fair?
Yes.
You said he was strange and you were scared around him. Did you ever tell Detective Botts that he didn't appear to be a mean person?
Well, he didn't appear to be mean. He was just different.
Okay. Isn't it true you also told Detective Botts that he didn't seem like a murderer?
No. I
You're
don't remember
denying?
saying that.
Are you denying that you told Detective Botts in an interview that you said Toby Madden did not appear to you to be a murderer?
I don't remember saying that.
Objection, Your Honor.
Correct, please.
Don't put words in Granny's mouth. Yes, she is in jail clothes because she went into a credit union with a pew pew at 74 years old, and they say old people can't do anything. Oh, there's a body cam. Cool. Well, she wasn't that successful. Let's just say it. Let's agree she wasn't as successful when she's now a resident of the state. Well, just don't go into credit unions. Well, you know how Jamie is. She doesn't show up for work every day. She only got 500. Oh, that's not fair. Yeah, she is very reliable. She didn't have any prior records, and she was open and honest about her using hearing aids, and I think she's been good because you can tell she's not trying to embellish anything or hide anything. She's just talking about how she saw it. You have to go look that case up. Nothing is mentioned in this case about it other than she's waiting for her sentencing. Yeah, I don't know why there's an online rumor that MG Law hurt his groin, so he couldn't go to Tennessee. I wouldn't have been participating in spreading that particular rumor. Yeah, it's a federally paid nursing home. No, they claim she was the victim of some kind of scam. So, but how? I don't know. That sounds like a weird defense. Jamie would have loved her.
Maybe probably, you remember the question?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
What's your answer?
I don't remember saying that.
When you say you don't remember, does that mean you're denying that you ever made it, or you just don't recall if you told the detective?
I don't
You just said,
recall.
I don't remember.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Ma'am, you may step down. Thank you.
I love this lady now.
You're right, we do. She's not subject to recall by us.
And she admitted she did it.
Thank you,
I did
Deputy
what I did,
Sergeant.
is what she said.
Okay, next witness, please.
But,
State, we call Detective Aaron Huck.
Aaron Hunt. But I like that she was wearing a DuckTales t-shirt. That kind of works for me. Yeah, I liked her. She didn't really have much to contribute, but I like witnesses who are to me seems honest. DuckTales.
The state may proceed with its examination.
Morning.
Morning.
Tell everybody your name and occupation, please.
Aaron Huckey, I'm a detective with the City of Hamilton Police Department.
And how long have you been with Hamilton Police Department?
21 years,
And how long have you been a detective?
8 years.
What are your duties as a Hamilton Police Department detective?
As a detective, I investigate crimes that happen and occur within the City of Hamilton.
Okay. And
She pled guilty. She's awaiting sentencing.
what is your training and education to be a police officer in general?
Yep, I went to the D. Russell Lee Police.
She robbed a bank when she was 74 years old. Online scam is allegedly why she did it, but she admitted to doing it. She's waiting sentencing, and she was apprehended while wearing a DuckTale t-shirt.
Academy. After graduation, I was hired on after being promoted. I went to the multiple different OPATA courses for crime scene tech as well as photography.
Okay. And is that your, did that training go to being a detective also then?
Yes.
Okay. Any other training you have, or is that
I have
informal or informal?
Also have training within for the Faro 3D scanner,
Okay.
as well as bullet trajectory.
Okay. And were you requested on October 11th of 2022 to respond out to 1270 Parish Avenue?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And that's in the city of Hamilton, Buffalo County, Ohio?
Yes, it is.
And what purpose were you called out there for?
My Lieutenant Patrick Erb, called me and asked if I would process a scene at 1270 Parish.
Okay. What does that mean to process a scene?
Overall, to photograph and then collect evidence.
Okay. So what time did you arrive there at 1270 Parish?
Approximately 1 p.m.
And other officers, they got there about an hour then before you.
Yes.
So what was the scene when you arrived there around 1?
Upon my arrival, the scene had already been taped off to include the street just west of the residence, as well as north and south of the residence, and the rear alley of the residence.
Okay. Officers everywhere doing different tasks, I assume?
Yes.
And what, why don't you explain to the jury, what tasks were you there to perform then?
Upon my arrival, I met with Officer Kay Johnson. She described to me what actions she had taken. I knew that Detective Tony Keep had already been securing a search warrant for the residence. So while I waited for that search warrant to be signed and approved, I went ahead and started taking photographs of the exterior of the residence.
Okay. How long did it take before you got the search warrant and then you got to actually go into the residence?
I would say approximately 45 minutes or so.
Sorry, I just have to show you all of this. Ann Mayers, a 74-year-old woman from Ohio, was arrested for allegedly robbing a credit union after falling victim to an online scam. Why is it so stupid? This is better. Police found her in possession of a pew-pew and identified the car she used in the robbery. Mayers admitted to the crime, but authorities discovered that she had no prior criminal records. Her family revealed that she had been sending money to an unidentified individual, indicating she may be a scam victim herself. In that aspect, some may see her as a victim. Unfortunately, Anne chose to victimize several other people in the bank by robbing it with a pew-pew as a remedy for her situation. Mayers is facing charges of aggravated robbery with a pew-pew and tampering with evidence. She is currently being held at the Butler County Jail, where she will remain until her initial court appearance. My granny wasn't that cool. She was pretty cool, but not that cool.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian.
So, I'm going to ask you about all the pictures you took here in a second.
Sure.
So just trying to do it all at once. So, so you went around the entire exterior of the house and took photographs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And once you got the search warrant and went in, did you then enter the residence at 1270?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you notice anything as soon as you went in the house?
Immediately upon entering the residence for an initial walkthrough, I smelled an overwhelming smell of rubbing alcohol within the residence, specifically within that first two rooms, right
Okay.
inside the front door.
And just to fall even more in love with her. DuckTales.
And you took note of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, El.
Does that indicate anything to you?
To me, it would be used as
Please.
I like DuckTales. That was a good show. That was back when cartoons were just fun. It didn't run that long. That was around the time I became fans of Ren and Stimpy.
I'm going to move on from that.
Sure.
So you said you smelled rubbing alcohol. Then when you go in, what's the next thing you did once you entered the residence?
I began to just do an initial walkthrough of the residence. So that's going room by room and observing just the overall layout of the residence as well as possible items of evidence.
Okay, all right. Thank you for this. Mr. Wilder, is the 1 through 69. I'm going to have you look at, and then 20.
Yeah, and then 1 through 16.
Didn't like Rescue Rangers.
All right, I got it. Thanks.
All right, I'm gonna have you just, can you briefly flip through 1 through 69, and then look at 209 when you get done with the first ones, and then, once you've looked at all, let me know once you've looked at all those.
Yeah, let's just skip ahead. Sorry. Du, du, du. I've had a case where a guy believed he had a girlfriend in South Africa, something like that, and he ended up doing money laundering for her. So he's gonna go to prison for someone he never met. Plus, he used all of his pension. Every dime he owned was gone, and then he money laundered like 50-60K dollars for her. That was stolen money from paycheck scams. Next hearing is October 15th. Yeah, that's my mom was one of those who believed everything. She got changed to new electric companies and changed her insurance every time someone called her. Oh, it's cheaper. I'll do it. And everything that told her you can win something online, she pressed that. I don't know the amount of times she called me and said, the computer isn't working. And I said, what did you click this time? I don't click anything. You told me not to. I said, did you participate in any competitions? Yeah, but only one I trust because it said I could win a trip to the US or a new air fryer. I said, don't participate in anything. Well, it was on a website I was looking at. Doesn't matter. So I had to go clean her PC at least once a month. Yeah, and they just believe it. At least that guy who had the OnlyFans, he got I believe he got a hand tuck and a Hummer. Maybe even tried to. I think he might even have been allowed inside, if you know what I mean. And hey, Vices Raiders, welcome all y'all, and thank you, Vices, for the raid. And it's so nice that they're finally showing when we get raided again. Got scammed by Microsoft Security for my computer. Probably not Microsoft Security.
Yep.
Hello.
Can you please, exhibits 1 through 69, can you please identify what those are?
Photographs that I've taken of the scene.
Okay. And are those true and accurate and fair representation of the way the scene looked on October 11th of 2022 when you were there?
Yes, they are.
For those Vices Raiders who just came in, this is a very interesting case. A guy stabulated his girlfriend/wife 55 times, and he admitted to doing it yesterday before the jury was let into the room, but on the record, so that will be played sometimes during the record. And I'm just trying to find that little clip because that's the first time I've ever seen that in a courtroom where someone admitting to it. But this case has everything. We just had a 74-year-old woman who robbed the bank because she had a Nigerian boyfriend. Well, I don't know if he was Nigerian. That might be racist, but she had an online scam boyfriend. But this was yesterday before court started when they were talking about nothing. He was just crying and.
Listen, yeah, I'm responsible for what happened to her. I didn't mean it.
No, his girlfriend slash wife, because they've been together for 28 years, had a kid together. I think you could claim both.
We gotta do it. And I'm so sorry.
Okay, let's take a recess.
Listen, yeah, I'm responsible for what happened to her. I didn't mean it. We gotta do it.
This was yesterday before court started, and the state said, "Oh, that's interesting. We're going to use that whenever we can with every witness who will testify who was in the room when it was said, and we will be playing this audio file." So his defense, we haven't really figured it out. Either it was the utility guys did it, or because he's also busted with 300 grams of a little bit of meth. So it's the people he owed money for the meth. The defense didn't give an opening statement, so it's we don't really know what his defense is. But Vice's, I'm pretty sure, as most lawyers would say, that really threw a wrench in the cogs, because his defense so far is someone else did it, maybe. But and it didn't help they were on the record. If he had just said it 5 minutes prior to this, then everything would have been fine. But the person he's talking to is his daughter, who was seated right behind her, testified as the first one, was asked, what did he say? And she said that he was sorry, he was responsible. So that's a good start for the jury.
And Exhibit 209, can you please identify that one?
That's a diagram of the residence, the first floor as well as the second floor.
Okay, did you create that?
Yes, I did.
And is that a fair representation of the floor plan of that, the home at 1270 Parish and the way it looked on October 11th, 2022?
Yes, it is.
All right, I would ask that States Exhibit 1 through 69 and then 209 be admitted and permission to publish, Your Honor.
All right. Looks like 4, 6,
Oh, he broke down today,
33,
but
45, 46, 47, 55, and 57 have already been admitted. So aside from those, do you have any objections to the other exhibits that are being offered at this time, Mr. Wilder?
No.
Okay, those will be admitted and they may be published.
All right. Just start with number 1. All right, so we're going to go through these one by one, Detective. And there is, if you see here to your right, down, if you step, there's a pointer on the outside of the witness box where you are, if you want to, if you, here, oh, you might be able to.
Well, yeah, he got 19 years for those 300 grams. So he is currently a resident on the taxpayer dime in Ohio, too.
If you
Other
touch
than
that
this.
screen in front of you, will it, can you draw circles on it or lines, or does it work with your finger?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it.
It doesn't turn me moist o'clock either.
Okay, so we don't need the pointer. Should be good. And I think if you go to the top left corner of the screen, or is it top right? Top right, you might be able to hit clear to get that, what you just put on there. Okay. All right, can you please describe to the jury what we're looking at here in States Exhibit 1?
The exterior of the front to 1270 Parish Avenue.
You pulled it up. Thank you, Brian. I had it up before.
Now Detective Johnson, I believe, is standing on the front porch there.
Yes, it is.
Let's go to Exhibit 2.
Oh, I have to go watch that later because that's really interesting, that Titan submersible. Now I know what I have to, when this case is over, I have to go watch.
Again, please describe what we're looking at here.
Again, it's just a little bit altered view of the same front of 1270 Parish Avenue.
Okay. And are you aware of what is on the wall there in the bottom, I guess it's the bottom right corner of the picture?
Yes,
And what is, can you put a circle around it?
yes.
And what did you just circle there?
I circled, it was a pack of cigarettes. Some of them are outside of the box.
Okay, all right. If you want to hit clear on that. All right, let's go to State's Exhibit 3. And what are we looking at in State's Exhibit 3?
That's a closer view of the same pack of cigarettes with a few of them outside of the box.
Okay. State's Exhibit 4. And please describe this exhibit.
It's the front of 1270 Parish Avenue. It's an approach.
Yeah, and thank you for the rate one more time. And everyone who was here, go subscribe to Vices. He's also a very, very good streamer, way better than I am. And he covers very much about the maritime stuff. It's very interesting. As a former seaman, I find it very interesting to hear all these cases from around the world. We always talk court cases, but he goes into all of that stuff that has to do with the ocean. And we sail the ocean blue. Jess, can you share a Vices link on Marissa, please?
Okay, and the caution tape's up around the house.
Yes.
Let's go to State's Exhibit 5. What are we looking at here?
The steps leading up to the residence.
I used to be in the Navy.
State's Exhibit 6.
Oh, that's exactly what Vices is. You would love Vices' channel. You need to go check him out.
And what are we looking at in this?
As we approach up the steps to the front door.
Okay, doors open.
Yes.
Okay. Any damage to the door or any sign of a break-in that you saw?
No.
State's Exhibit 7. And again, I'm going to ask this question a lot. Please
Yep,
describe
that's
this
fine.
to the jury.
This is the windows to the left as well as the left side of the front of the residence.
Okay. Now, is there anything of note in the window on the right there?
It would be a piece of board or something blocking the windows.
Okay. All right. And let's go on to State's Exhibit.
I'm gonna full screen it so you can see it better.
Well, and I'm sorry, before we go to 8, is there there's a board inside? Can you just circle what you're talking about there?
Right here. In the residence, there's a board.
Okay.
set up
And is there damage to the window itself?
No.
Okay. Down in the right corner of the right window, what am I seeing there? Is that
I believe that's to the screen, window
I
screen.
don't know.
that's just damage to the window?
Window screen.
Okay. No damage to the glass itself, though, correct?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. Let's go on to number 8. And what are we looking at here?
Again, it's just an altered view of the same angle with showing the roof.
Okay. Number 9. What is this picture of?
This is the area below that same set of windows showing the block windows for the basement.
And any damage to those block windows?
No.
I wouldn't walk on this porch. Look how it sacks over here. This is we were yelling at the concrete pouring in the Laurie Shaver case. Dave, as a man who likes to work his wood, this must hurt your soul to watch.
Number 10. Again, what's this one?
The same windows again showing the board behind them.
Okay. Number 11. What are we looking at?
A glimpse of both those windows, the top and the basement block windows, as well as the area just north of the residence showing the neighbor's house.
Okay, and that would be Ms. Mayer's house at 1260 on the left there?
Yes,
And this is still the front of the house, correct?
that's correct.
Okay. Let's go on to number 12.
This is an overview Okay. This is an overview of the north side of the residence between the neighbor's house.
Okay, and how far would you say the houses are apart there, where the walls are?
Probably within 8 feet, 10 feet.
Okay, you still walk through there, you could fit through there?
Yes.
Any damage to the windows that we see on the pictures, the 1270 there in the side of the house?
No.
That's one to number 13. And what are we looking at here?
An additional view showing down the north side of the 1270 Parish Avenue.
All right. And again, no damage to the windows there?
Correct.
The same windows we saw before?
Correct.
14. And what are we looking at in this picture?
This is one of the basement windows. It's blocked with one of those vent screens, allowing you to open it up. That's on the north side of the residence.
Okay, and any damage to any of the glass blocks there?
No.
15? Or, well, hold on 1 second. What, is the screen ripped out of that?
It is a rented house. It's in the not so good area of Hamilton, Ohio.
Is that a window that you would crank open?
I believe so.
Okay, and is there any damage to that actual piece that moves itself, or are we just looking at the screen ripped?
Just the screen ripped.
Okay. 15, please. What are we looking at here?
That is a window from the north side of the residence.
Okay, these are the same two windows we've seen in the previous pictures, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and that, again, no damage?
Correct.
16.
Again, one of the same two windows, no damage.
17.
This is going to be the rear of the residence.
Okay, so that's the back door there?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know if that, when you went through the house and went through the outside, was that door locked or unlocked?
It was locked.
Any damage to that door?
Yes, there was.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, there was. Appeared to be It did have previous damage.
Previous damage, not. And what do you mean by previous damage?
It was damaged, but it was still functioning as it should.
Okay. All right. And the screen door, are you talking about damage to the actual door itself, not that storm door on the, or which door do you, there's two doors?
Yeah, the actual, not the screen door.
Okay. All right. Where was that damage?
It was to the inside frame, the locking side of frame of the door, as well as dents to the door.
Okay. But again, that door was locked when you arrived on scene?
Yes.
Okay. Any damage to those windows that we see in the picture there?
No.
18, please. Again, what are we looking at here?
Looking again at the rear of the residence, there's 3 windows, 2 of them for the first floor, and there are items stacked up or blocking the view into and out of the windows.
Okay, so those are items inside the house that you couldn't see out of the windows?
That's correct.
19, please. And please describe this one.
Just again, an overall of the back of the residence.
20. What are we looking at in this one?
Closer view of the back door.
Okay. And where did you see, can you see the damage in this picture?
Yes.
Where, can you circle it where you saw damage?
It would be off to the right of the 2 door handles.
Okay, and that there are 2 deadbolts though, correct? Or 2 locks, is that fair to say?
2 locks, yes.
2 locks?
Yes.
And they were both functioning?
Yes.
If you want to get clear there.
That seems to be the defense thing. Someone came in through the back door and unalived her. But Granny just said she heard a scream and he yelled. 3 people did it, but no one saw anyone else.
21, please. And what are we looking at in State Exhibit 21?
This is going to be an overview of the south side of the residence leading back to the front of the house.
Okay, so if you were on the street, this would be the right side of the house if you were looking at the house from the street, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And air conditioning unit out there?
Yes,
And then 2, or I guess there's 3 windows, isn't there?
3 windows.
Okay. Any damage to those windows?
One of the windows does have damage to it,
What kind of damage?
damage to the glass.
Okay. I believe we'll see that in a photo coming up here. Let's go to 22. What are we looking at in this picture?
This is a photo of the front bedroom glass window.
Okay. And is there damage to this window?
Yes,
Just circle where it is, please. Okay. Is the glass intact?
partially.
Is it missing out of anywhere or?
Yes, it's missing out of this area right here.
Okay, all right. And then there's some tape, tape at the bottom there?
Yes, down here.
You can clear that out there. Hang on 1 second, Ron. I'm sorry, I had you cleared out. I shouldn't have. Can you circle where the hole is in the glass again? Okay. Is that hole there, is that, could a person fit through that?
No.
Okay. Now you're clear. Thank you. 23. What are we looking at in 23?
This is an above view of the same window,
Okay,
an angle showing the top half of the window.
okay. And is that glass intact on 23?
Yes,
Or, I'm sorry, at the top half that's intact?
yes.
Okay. 24. Well, what do we have here?
Again, this is a block window for the basement with one of those vent openings.
Okay. And again, is there any damage to that?
No.
25. And what are we looking at in this?
This is another basement vent window with the glass block.
Okay. Is this a different one than 24?
Yes, this is
Okay.
further down the residence, closer to the street.
Closer to the Parish Avenue?
Yes.
Okay. And any damage to that window?
No.
Thank you. 26? What do we have here?
These are the remaining 2 windows for the front room of the residence.
All right. And how high are those windows off the ground, would you say?
I'd estimate about 8 feet or so.
Okay. Could you, so fair to say you couldn't stand there on your feet and look in those windows?
Correct.
Okay. Any damage to those windows?
No.
Number 27. And please describe this.
And this is from looking back the way we just traveled, looking back towards the back of the residence.
Okay. Just a different view of those same photos, same windows we just looked at, correct?
Correct.
28. And what do we have here?
This is a GMC Terrain that was parked immediately in front of the residence.
Okay. And do we know whose vehicle that is?
Yes,
And whose vehicle is that?
it would be the victims.
Would that be Rachelle Brewsaugh's vehicle?
That's correct.
Any damage to that vehicle? Or that you saw or noticed of anything?
No.
29, please. And what are we looking at here?
This is the top of the front porch leading up to the front door of the residence with a partially burnt or smoked cigarette.
Okay. Come back to that then. Okay, and that's the doors open, correct?
Correct.
That's the front door, right?
Yes.
30?
This is a closer view of the same cigarette.
Okay. And did you collect that cigarette?
Yes.
Okay. I'll keep going through the pictures and then we'll come back to that later. 31, please. What do we have here?
It's getting entry into the front door of the residence, into the front room, immediately off the front door.
Any damage to the door there?
No.
Okay. And is that Ms. Brewsaugh on the floor in the back of the picture?
Yes.
And 32? What are we looking at in this picture?
This is the interior of that same front door with the door shut.
Mm-hmm.
And
was the door functioning?
yes.
Door lock functioning?
Yes.
Okay. Both the deadbolt and the lock on the handle there?
Yes.
33?
And Zach is back, and he doesn't have lipstick on his collar, and he always smells like perfume, and he doesn't look guilty. Why do you ask? Welcome back, Zach.
What do we have in this picture?
This is an overview of the victim lying face up immediately inside the front room of that residence.
Is this how
Well,
she
you got
was
it what you wanted.
found when Detective Johnson arrived, or Officer Johnson at the time? Or she'd been moved at any point here?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
This is how she was when I arrived.
Okay. 34? What are we looking at in this picture?
Additional view showing down the wall, as well as some of the blood and some of the furniture within that room.
And what is that? May I approach the screen?
You may.
What are we looking at? What is this in the window here?
In the window, it is a floor sample.
Yes, when I become a millionaire of the Sarah Boone case, I might be looking for a house in Tennessee.
When you go to buy flooring, you can take some of the samples. And it's one of those boards to bring back to the residence. Try to pick out flooring.
Okay. And I believe that at the bottom on the windowsill there's blood on either side of that floor sample board, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And approach again. This, and we'll see other pictures of it, but what is this? What are we looking at right here?
It's a cabinet that's been knocked down.
Okay. And what is this piece of furniture here or wood?
Top of a table that's leaning up against the wall.
Okay. All right. Can I have 1 second?
Sure.
Detective down in the corner by Rachelle's foot here. Is that, what do we have here?
That's a broken lamp.
Okay. And is it sitting on the floor?
Yes.
Okay. Is it, and you say it's broken? Is that?
Well, the top part of the lamp is broken.
The shady part?
Yes.
35? And what are we looking at in this States Exhibit 35?
An additional overall view of the same corner.
Okay. Blood on the floor?
Blood on the floor.
Okay, just point out where the blood is, please.
As well as the trim board. And we have additional spatter back in this general area here. And then here on this frame.
Okay, and is this, may I approach the screen again? Can I just go?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. And Detective, is this also blood right here, or is that something else?
I would have to look at an additional view.
Okay. State's Exhibit, yeah, thank you. State's Exhibit 36. And what are we looking at in this photo?
These are the two windows from the inside for the front room.
Okay. Any blood up in those windows?
There will be some here. There's some here on this, as well as some in this general area here, and then on top of this ledge here, there will be some.
Okay. Thank you. 37. What do we have in State's Exhibit 37?
This would be more of an interior shot showing that cabinet lying on the ground, as well as the victim's left arm and some additional blood.
Okay. You can see the wounds on Ms. Brewsaugh in this picture in her arm, her torso.
Yes.
And that that cabinet, is it on its, it's laying on the front side. That's the back of it that we're seeing up in the air, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Was there blood on that piece of furniture?
Yes.
Where do you, if you recall where it is, or if it's not in this picture, we can go to another.
It's not. It's.
And that's fine.
Yeah, I would need that additional view.
Okay.
To act.
All right. Correct. 38. What are we looking at in this picture?
This is the couch with blankets and bedding. That's within that same bedroom, or correction, within that same room.
Is this the front room as you enter the house?
Correct.
Okay. And this is the same room that her body's in?
Yes.
What is marked as number 3 there?
That would be a cell phone.
Okay. It's on 39. Hey, 1 second.
Have a good night's sleep, Adelaide.
One 39.
39. What are we looking at in this picture?
This is going to be, my back is immediately to the front door, looking left.
Why didn't they clean that before showing the house?
Into the second front room that connects to where the victim is.
Fair to say this is the pathway that so the front door would be basically here, for lack, am I correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and is this the path that you would take to go to the basement then?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, it's to show that's been a fight since the utility guys were there.
And is there blood in this picture also?
Yes, there is.
Where?
There's going to be blood on the top of this box here. And then here, as well as, and it'll show on this piece of board.
Okay. It's 140. And what do we have in State's Exhibit 40?
This is immediately turning to the right of the last photo, showing an overview of the victim as well as the front door and the window.
Okay. Again, you can see the wounds on Rachelle in this picture.
Yes.
41. What do we have in this picture?
This is on the other side, so I've been standing between the cabinet and the couch, facing towards that second room at the front of the residence.
Okay, and where would her where would her body be?
Her body should be over in that direction.
Okay. All right. 42. Or well, hold on a second. One. Is there blood on this cabinet in this picture, or is this not the?
No, not on this picture. It would have been on this side over here.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Thank you. 42. What do we have in State's Exhibit 42?
This would have been to the left of the couch. We have a black bag as well as some clothing and drinks and a clear container
Okay. And that black bag was collected by you or other detectives, correct?
That's correct.
Um, This one's 43. And what do we have in this view here?
This is going to be an overview of the second room, depicting the board that I previously stated had blood footprints on it, as well as a small couch with bedding material on it, and additional items on a small table into the back.
Okay. And is there blood on any items there besides the board, or?
There was a small drop on this item here.
All right, and that looks like that would be the lid to that white container there, is that correct?
That's correct.
44. And what do we have in this one?
This is an approach angle into the kitchen of the residence.
Okay. Any blood splatter in this picture, or did it not in this?
Not in this picture.
Okay. 45. What did we have in this picture?
This is an overview of the kitchen area in the process of being remodeled.
Okay, so this room is actually a kitchen. It just doesn't have the appliances. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And what are the other rooms in this picture?
In this direction is back towards the basement and that back door.
Okay.
Through this area will be the front bedroom, what we call the front bedroom. Yeah.
Sure.
And then through here, where that light's coming from is the bathroom. But then back here, straight back, is a second back bedroom.
Okay.
To that.
46. And what do we have in State's Exhibit 46?
This is an additional interior view of the back door.
Okay. And what is of note in this photograph?
Of note is the two locking mechanisms here and here.
Okay. And what else is that? What is that board or dark object to the right of the locking, over on the other side of the door?
I believe it's just a large piece of plastic.
Okay, it was laying up there. And then is this the piece in the middle, that sawhorse looking thing? Is that up against the door?
No, it's not. That's actually closer to us. There's going to be stairs, I believe, 2 or 3 right in this area.
Okay.
So that's on our level.
Okay. All right. Very good.
First floor level, I should say.
Okay. 47. And what are we looking at in State's Exhibit 47?
Again, an additional view of those locks.
Okay.
Imagine taking all these pictures of a crime scene.
Are locked, correct?
Yes.
48. What do we have in this picture?
This is an approach angle to the bathroom.
All right. Doors open. Is that what we see at the floor there? Is that dirt or something at that point, or you're not, or do you know?
What?
Or do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's down here at the bottom. I believe it's just dirt.
Okay. All right. 49. And what do we have in State's Exhibit 49?
Immediately inside the bathroom to the right, there's the door with a small bag hanging off the handle, as well as the sink.
Okay. And anything of note in this picture?
Within the sink, I saw what appeared to be brown spots that had been washed, or basically washed blood.
Okay. And where, can you just circle where that is?
Yeah.
Thank you. What is that? What are those items on the other items on the sink? Just can you tell us what those are?
Well, we have soap. We have, this is like a.
Which one are you pointing?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is some soap. Additional, I believe these are.
Never mention motive. Remember, it's never the state's duty to prove motive. But we haven't had any defense either of why he did it, if he did it. So I don't know.
Or deodorant. toothbrush.
Speed this up because it's
Um,
slow as molasses.
I can't recall exactly what this is. I believe this may be a lighter of some sort.
Okay.
Oh, a lighter.
And what do we have in State Exhibit 50?
Additional view showing some of that same sink, as well as the toilet with cleaning supplies on the top and the tub.
Okay, and there's, looks like one, is that a toilet bowl cleaner?
Yes,
That works, and then what's the one behind it?
I believe it's an overall just a bathroom cleaner, a surface cleaner.
Okay. Cool. And then also in this picture, again, can you see the blood that you pointed out in State Exhibit 49? Thank you. Clear that out. What do we have in this picture?
And this is going to be walking into the front bedroom.
Okay, and is that, those aren't stairs back there, are they?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Bad girl, bad
So
girl.
that door's just open to that bedroom, correct?
That's correct.
No, I think this house is one of those houses that was built for the returning troops back in 45, 46. So everything was smaller back then, just as the Americans.
52. And what do we have in this picture?
This is a lower overall view of that front bedroom, what we call the front bedroom.
Okay, any blood back here?
Hi, Lena.
No.
And again, what do we have here?
We have items of clothing with 2 cell phones lying on the clothing.
All right, and is that some, that's a piece of furniture, correct?
Yes, it is.
Would it be a nightstand or something, or? I can't tell what that is, or a small dresser or cabinets?
It's a cabinet. I don't remember exactly what type of cabinet it was.
54. What do we have in this picture?
This is
Oh, thank you,
coming
Nicholas.
down to the basement. I'm in the basement looking back up
Okay.
those stairs.
Do you recall if the basement was lit or dark when you went down there?
It was dark. There was no access to lighting down in the basement.
Okay, so no overhead lighting in the basement or no string to pull?
Yeah, you can tell it's old because the steps on the stairs, also the short ones, they would not pass code today.
Light bulb or anything like that? No
Correct.
switches on the wall?
Correct.
How was this lit up then?
That would have been lit up with my camera,
Okay.
the camera flash.
Okay, all right. 55. And again, is this lit up from your camera flash or did you put lighting down there to do this?
This is with my camera flash.
Okay. And what are we looking at in this picture?
The interior of the first room, when you come down the steps to the basement, my back is to the stairs leading down to the basement.
Okay, and where does that door lead to?
An additional open room. This way is an additional open room underneath the front of the residence. And then there is a smaller room back to the left as well.
Okay. 56. And which room is this leading to?
Going to the right towards underneath the front of the residence.
Okay, so from State's Exhibit 55, this would be that door you just pointed out on the right, correct? Okay. And again, not lit up anywhere in the basement?
That's correct.
57. And what do we have here?
Looks like additional painting supplies, miscellaneous building supplies, a bucket with additional items, and the furnace.
Okay, and is there anything?
Is it me or does it look like there's a lot of moisture in those walls? Bet you this house is full of mold.
You have notes on the floor that you noticed?
I see items, looks like some sort of prints, but I'm not exactly certain what those are.
Okay, fair enough. 58. What do we have in State's Exhibit 58?
Now, an additional view tilted up, showing more of that workbench area, the bucket, and the furnace.
What's in that bucket? What's the red handle?
Red handle is some sort of like a broom type handle.
Is there anything on the other end of that?
I don't know.
Okay, all right. Is that some plastic coming out of the bucket or what is that?
Yes.
59. What do we have in State's Exhibit 59?
This is a large amount of clothing as well as another broom off to the left, a toothbrush, and other items.
And a crock pot box.
Yes.
It used to be a children's room.
Sorry.
You missed a 74-year-old bank robber, and The rest of it has been mostly just to establish timeline, and now this guy is going through the crime scene, showing us the house.
And this is, again, this is that room off to the right, the same one that you said, and when you came down the stairs, this would have been the other bedroom off to the right, or is this now the smaller bedroom on the left?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's not that well shielded, and it'll grow moldy, especially when the furnace isn't working. So I wouldn't buy this house.
No, we're still in the same room as prior photo.
Okay.
Our back is now to that workbench.
Okay, all right. 60. And what do we have in 60?
We're now standing from the previous photo angle, looking back towards the door to this room would have been over in this general area. Here's the furnace, and then additional clothing and miscellaneous items.
Okay.
The water heater.
61. And what do we have in 61 here?
We have a cell phone as well as a wallet and a green fleece sleeveless jacket.
Okay, vest?
Yes, a vest.
Okay. All right. And
as well as a gray shirt to the right.
Okay, all right. And the 9 and the 10 are marking what?
9 is marking the cell phone, 10 is marking the wallet.
Okay. And again, these photographs were taken on the day of October 11th, correct?
That's correct.
62. And again, what do we have here on 62?
These are additional photos. This time the 11 is the green fleece vest. 12 is for a SIM card from a cell phone, and 13 is for a key with the red plastic portion to it.
63. And what do we have in Exhibit 63?
This is a view of that front window showing that floor sample.
Okay, and still blood on the window, still in the window frame?
Yes.
64. What did we have here in 64?
An additional view of that same window with that floor sample moved.
Okay, so this, you removed that floor sample to take this photograph?
Yes.
Okay. In order to show, I guess, the whole window?
Yes.
And then is there blood on the floor also?
Yes, there is.
Is that a hole?
Yeah.
Dish at the bottom?
Yes, it is.
65.
Been a
Again, what do we have in 65?
Additional view showing the white patterns of the blood.
What do we have in
At every
66?
trial.
This is of that interior, right when we walked into the front door to the left. When you shut the door, this would be the wall immediately to your left, showing blood spatter.
Okay, and you just show us where the mark on there, where the blood splatter is, please?
Here. These are additional.
Okay, and are those in the middle one that you circled, are those tracks of where it was dripping down the wall?
Yes.
What?
67. And what do we have in 67?
Hey, Patches.
This is going to be on an adjacent wall of a close-up view.
Different wall than we just looked at.
I didn't hear, but
yes.
And but adjacent, when you say adjacent, what do you mean?
This
Where's
one's
this in relation to 66?
this one's directly behind us.
Okay, from the other wall.
Yes.
All right, and that I'll call it a ruler, or is that something that you put there?
Yes.
Okay, and what is that to you? That ruler? What do you use that for?
It's a scale to show the overall scale, so we would be able to pull that up and know that if this scale is at this, how many inches this is, then we could scale the rest of the.
Okay, how many inches is that scale you're using?
It is, I believe it's 3 inches.
Okay.
I saw that yesterday
And
too. That's
blood
cool.
splatter is, can you just point out what all this blood splatter on there, please? Thank you. 68. And what do we have in State Exhibit 68?
This is the blood on the cabinet.
Everyone, boss ladies here, act normal.
The cabinet is now standing upright.
Okay.
We lifted it up and stood it upright.
Okay, members of the Hamilton Police Department lifted that and stood it up.
Yes.
This is the one that we saw earlier that was lying face down, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and what are we looking at on, in this picture on the side of it?
We have some blood here as well as some right here.
Okay, and Am I, is it fair to say that to the left of this, let me get it. This side here would be the front of the cabinet?
Yes.
And this is the side that was laying face down?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. 69, please. And what do we have in State's Exhibit 69?
This is an additional view of the front door, again with the scale and additional blood.
Okay, I'm sorry, you said this is the front door?
Yes,
Okay. And that, again, is that a 3-inch scale that you put on there?
yes.
And please show us where the blood is here. Thank you. Yep. Now,
One second, Your Honor.
Still not on break. I'm going late today.
and I forgot to have you look at one adverse witness.
You may.
You still have a vote there?
Yes.
I'm going to look at 238. If you could, please flip the exhibit book there and go to State's Exhibit 238 and identify that.
Maybe instruct the audience to turn off your phone.
Are located.
Okay, you got to say what that identifies?
Yes, it's a white folding knife located at the top of that cabinet that was originally laying down in the front room.
Okay. And is that a true and accurate representation of the way that knife was located when you were there on October 11th, 2022?
Yes.
Is the State's Exhibit 238 be admitted and published?
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, it'll be admitted and it may be published.
All right, so now please describe to the jury what we're looking at.
This is going to be like a crown molding feature of the cabinet that was face down on the floor.
Within this is while it's still face down on the floor, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes. Within that, there was this folding knife here.
Okay, and is that what number 7 is signifying there?
Yes, it is.
With that knife was collected, correct?
Yes.
And let's go to, actually, I think I can switch to the other one. I have 209. Now, up on the big screen there, or I should set it on your screen. Can you please describe to the jury what we're looking at here in State's Exhibit 209?
Yeah, we're looking at a 2D view of a diagram of the residence.
Okay, and this would be the first floor of the house, the main floor?
Yes.
Okay, can you just point out each room and where the front door is? And
Front porch is going to be here.
I don't think, actually, I don't think you can, is it drawn?
Might not be. Front porch? No, it's not like that. But the
Okay,
front,
have you look here. If you would, maybe step down. Sure. Just describe what you're going to do on the screen there.
so here's going to be the front porch where we made the original approach to the residence. Here's the front door. Here's the victim up to the right. That cabinet would have been laying here. The couch and those items would have been here with the phone. Additional items that evidence the additional front room, the kitchen, front bedroom with the 2 cell phones, and the bathroom with the
Okay, and where is the, how do you get to the basement?
The basement would be, we would walk through here, walk through the back, and then this would be down to the basement. So you walk down 2 steps, there's a landing to that back door, take a left, there's an additional landing, or that's part of the same landing, and you walk down those steps.
Okay, and then we go to the second page. What are we looking at in the second page of 209?
Yep. Here we are walking down the steps through this door, or sorry, through this room to the right, and then here is that open room in front, underneath the front of the residence, and this is the area that we located the jacket, the SIM card, wallet, and those items.
Where was that bucket?
Yes, Jamie, it might become a part of either my opening or closing.
That we saw, just to get a
It
reference.
was it right here.
Okay, then the washing machine would have been where when you came down the steps, if you remember? Was that right by the steps?
Yeah, that was back over here.
Okay, all right, so, and then the other small room,
This is just like an empty additional storage type room.
Okay.
Back in that area. There was not much of anything back in that area.
all right, thank you. You can, Detective, did you, you said you collected that bowling knife, correct?
Yes.
And did you also collect a cigarette?
Yes.
Which cigarette did you, are you talking about the cigarette that was on the front porch?
Yes.
I can't play it. I can't find it now.
The one
I didn't
picture
put
of
a
the upload
stamp
right by
on
the
it.
front door?
Yes.
You may.
Thank you, Kiki.
So I'm gonna hand you, wait till you-
Let's speed it up.
Good. Yes. All right. My name is Mark. Stacy, 213, Mr. Roder, and also 216. Can you please take a look at 213 and 216 and identify both of these, please?
Mhm.
And just for the record's sake, which one are you looking at right now?
I'm open 213. 213 is going to be the folding knife, the white handle that I collected from the top of that cabinet.
The defendant is crying.
Your Honor, and that is the same knife that you collected from the top of that cabinet on October 11, 2022, correct?
That's correct.
Would ask that 213, 213 be admitted into evidence.
Any objections?
No objection.
All right,
And
you'll be
if I
admitted.
may, can I just have him stand closer
Sure.
to the box and have him hold it up? Sure. Please, just maybe walk down to the hinge, see it closer. Sorry, you do. Thank you, Detective. Now, if you would open the other one, it was 216, and identify 216 once you get it open up.
Thank you, FD Food Fairy. Oh, like watching paint dry. Come on now, move faster. Yes, that was the stabulator.
216 is going to be the partially smoked, partially burnt end cigarette that I located on the front porch of the 1270 porch.
That's the same one that you found on October 11,
Yes.
2022?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, I've asked 216 be admitted.
Any objection?
No, no objection.
All right, it'll be admitted.
Thank you. Wait one second.
Let's get to lunch. I am hungry. It is 6:13. I need my dinner. And we have listened to this guy for long enough. So move it on, please. Let's get to it. And I still think the state will rest today. Probably to show that there was no one else's DNA found at the scene that had any relevance for the case. That's why they picked up the cigarette.
Detective, I think that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Continuation?
Going to cross. Isn't it lunchtime? Are we going to one?
Good afternoon, Ted. Hello. I may jump around a little bit. You're asking questions, so I'm getting confused anyway. Just let me know. I'll clarify for you. Is that fair?
That's fine, thank you.
Mr. Wilder, can you put up your photos just let me know?
Appreciate that.
Yes, but I will get pissy, as my mods always say.
Were you involved with any search warrant executions on that property? Or executing search warrants? Were you involved at all with any of those?
Yes.
I need like an hour break because I need to run to the store and find something. I've been waiting all day for an IKEA delivery, so I haven't got anything. That's why I'm even more hungry.
Was it just one occasion, or was there another occasion?
There was a second occasion as well.
The evidence that you said you collected, that you just testified to, was that during the first search warrant execution or the second?
Would have been during the first.
Okay. But you did say there was a second occasion that you went out for a search warrant execution?
Yes, sir.
Do you know how long after the first time you went and then the second time you went? What was the time range? How many days between?
I believe it was 15 days.
During those 15 days between the first search and the second search, was the scene secured?
No.
And when you say no, meaning there's no tape?
Correct. No tape or law enforcement.
Okay. So after officers respond to the scene, and you're there on the day, the night of the 911 call and finding Rachelle dead. When you left the property there, in the days between that and the next search, there's no crime tape up at all. Is that fair?
Correct.
And no officers on scene to monitor if anybody's going in and out of that.
That's correct.
I did get the IKEA delivery, but they gave me a 2-hour window to be home, and he came 1 minute before that window closed. So it didn't get delivered till late.
You said that when you walked in, it was an overwhelming smell of, did you say rubbing alcohol or just alcohol? I'm sorry.
Rubbing alcohol.
Were there containers inside the house?
Yes.
How many containers?
2.
Do you know the approximate size of them?
I don't know how many ounces. It's a typical size that you can find at a grocery store.
Okay. If you would just show with your hands about how big the bottle.
Yeah, just a typical size that you would have.
Okay. Stuff that can fit easily into like a medicine cabinet?
Yes.
You said there was 2 of those?
Yes.
Were they empty?
Yes.
When you were in the bathroom, did you smell that rubbing alcohol?
No.
But you said you smelled it as soon as you walked into the front door?
Yes.
Was that the only room in the house that you smelled that?
It would also have been into that second front room. But after that, no, not as much.
Where did you find the 2 bottles that you described? Where did you find those within the house?
In the front room.
Were those collected?
No.
Did you swab those for fingerprints?
No.
Did you have any interaction with Toby Madden the day that you were out there at the residence the first time?
No.
Did you even pass him at all? Was there any, like you're walking up, he's walking out?
No.
No interaction at all? So you wouldn't know whether or not Mr. Madden smelled of rubbing alcohol when he was arrested and taken away from the scene?
Correct.
Well, Jamie will cover the case.
Was there a knife collected from Rachelle's purse?
Yes.
Is that something you collected, or is that someone else collected that?
Detective Horton did.
Okay. The only reason I asked is it appears to be in your section of the report, but were you present when that was collected from the purse?
He notified me of what he had found.
Okay.
And asked me to respond to him.
Okay. So if I had a question about whether that knife that was in her purse was deformed or warped, is that a question for you, or should I have asked him?
Probably Detective Horton.
Okay. No, I apologize. I'm just
That's
looking at
fine.
the sequence of the report, what for sure who that was. So you weren't involved with that? Okay. Were you involved with the search of Rachelle's vehicle?
No, I was not.
Are you aware whether or not any rifles were found in her vehicle?
No, I'm not.
That would be a question for someone else, I'm supposing.
Correct.
We went through a lot of pictures of this house. Clearly, they're doing work on the house. Is that fair?
Yes.
And there were tools. There were several different types of tools within that house that could have caused injury to someone. Is that fair?
Yes.
I mean, we even have like a rubber mallet hammer, correct?
Yes.
I think there was even something that looks like wire cutters.
Possibly.
But there were items in there. If you wanted to hurt someone, you could have done that with some of the items you saw in the house.
Possibly, yes.
Right. I'm not suggesting that someone did. I'm just saying there were things within that house if someone wanted to threaten or to act like they wanted to hurt someone. There were things in there that could cause bodily harm.
Yes.
The back door, when you were there, you're saying the deadbolts were locked, correct?
That's correct.
You said they were still functioning. Did you go to the door and check them to see if they locked and unlocked?
It wasn't until I observed Detective Horton actually use them did I know that for sure.
Do you have hoagies? No, subs. I have a Subway type of thing, like 5 minutes away from me, but they serve more burgers now. I don't even think I can get like a sub anymore. It's not a big thing. A lot of Vietnamese people sell Subways, but they close at 4.
Sure that they were functioning.
Okay. And you did note the day that you went out there, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, there was damage to the frame and you said dents in the door?
Yes.
And in the back door specifically?
Yes.
Okay. Jessica, I have a minute to confer with my client. Judge, that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Any redirect?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Detective. You may step down.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think this is a good time for us to take our lunch break, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give you an hour for that. It's about 20 after 12, so we'll come back at 1:20. Please remember my recess instructions, okay? We'll see you in an hour.
No ME so far, but there can't be that many more witnesses to go from the state. I should have written down how many they mentioned during the opening. I still believe that the state will rest today.
The jurors have been excused from the courtroom before we recess. Is there anything on behalf of the state of Ohio? Anything on behalf of the defendant?
Nothing, Judge. Thank you.
All right, we'll stand in recess until 1:20. Thank you.
1:20, not 4:20. I will be running to the store, getting myself. Am I Irish now or Scottish? I don't know. I might have had a stroke again. Getting some food, and hopefully you will all get some food too and be ready so you are not cranky, because Jess will yell at you. And we'll meet up again roughly 10-15 past 1 Eastern Standard Time. I will redirect you to I have set up the afternoon stream, so I'll be doing that while I run to the store, and see you all in a bit.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't have cared.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has.
So there-
Everybody has.